Chapter 941. Read 336. Mulien Xian was obviously used to seeing blood and going crazy. Seeing Dama's transformation, he wasn't surprised at all. Yue looked at the two people fighting below. The more blood there was on Dama's body, the more unfocused his eyes became and the crazier his actions became. Have you guys fought in the arena before? Sima Yue asked Feng Kai and Shi Chen. No. My body wasn't suitable in the past, so second brother wasn't interested in this. Shi Chen said, but sixth brother and the others have gone up before. What was the result? He won 5 rounds, but then he met the king of the 10 rounds and lost. Shi Chen said. Then, did he tell you guys what's different about the arena? For example, someone like him? Sima Yu asked. He said that it was indeed like that. He was fine at first, but once he saw blood, he lost control of his body. Shi Chen said, he'll be fine once he gets off the stage. It seems like this arena is indeed a little strange. Sima Yue rubbed his chin and said. Bang! While they were talking, Dama was beaten up by Mu Lianxin a few times. The muscles in front of his chest were cracked and blood flowed out. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, he fell heavily outside the ring. Hiss, he defeated Dama so quickly. The onlookers sighed. Not bad, he's indeed capable. Sima Yue said. This bootlicker, he looks so big, but he can't even take a beating. This hooligan is so small, I didn't expect him to be so strong. 7 commented. Mulien Xian glanced at the people below the stage. Everyone shut their mouths and didn't speak. Just now, they had said that he couldn't beat Dama. They didn't expect that he would come to slap their faces so quickly. He looked around, and those people all shrunk their necks, not daring to challenge him. You, come down. Mulien Xian turned his gaze towards little 7 who was upstairs. Rogue, what are you trying to do? Are you going to fight with me? Little 7 leaned on the windowsill and looked at him. She did not go down. You dare to call me a hooligan, come down. Mulien Xian said. You said that she won't fight with you guys tonight, so I can't go down. Little 7 said. You dare to call me a hooligan, but don't dare to come down and fight with me? Mulien Xian sneered. You're not wearing clothes. If you're not a hooligan, then what are you? Little 7 said. Also, why should I fight with you? What's the benefit? If I defeat you, will you be mine? Ha 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 ha. When the people below heard little 7's words, they all laughed. This fellow really dared to say anything. Leaving aside the fact that she scolded Mulien Xian, only she would dare to say that if she won, he would be hers. Humph. Mulien Xian coldly snorted and took out a whip to attack upstairs. Instant spiritual technique. Sima Yue shouted. The whip directly attacked little 7. Little 7 was furious and grabbed the whip. Not only are you a hooligan, but you're also shameless. I didn't even go down and you actually attacked me. Then come down. If you agree to my conditions, I'll go down. You're courting death. With a thought, Mulien Xian split the whip into 3. Other than the one that little 7 was holding onto, the other 2 quickly tied her up. With a pull, little 7 was pulled out of the private room. Humph, don't think that just because a tiger doesn't show its might, you'll treat me like a sick cat. Little 7 was provoked and her temper flared up. Borrowing the strength of the whip, she flew out. She really is a child. When I heard her voice, I thought she was an old witch pretending to be young. That's right. Now even little children dare to come to the blood arena. I wonder who brought her here. This isn't an ordinary child. Look. Little 7 flew into the air and with a shake of her hands, that whip was shattered by her, turning into spiritual energy and disappearing. The whip that Mulien Xian transformed into was actually shattered by her. Oh my god. What kind of monster is this little brat? Little 7 turned around and glared. Those people didn't dare to speak anymore. Humph. Little Seven snorted at them and then turned around with one hand on her waist and the other pointing at Mulien Xian. She scolded, "You stingy hooligan. So what if I scold you? You still want to fight with me? If this little grandaunt doesn't beat you up until you cry for your parents, then I'm not Little Seven." Sima Yue face-bombed upstairs. What happened to her ladylike demeanor? She had clearly been following her all this while. How did she get led astray by Little Roar? "I'm very angry. You actually dare to provoke me. Even if you admit defeat now, I want you to have a good taste of my fist." After speaking, Little Seven raised her fist and attacked. Mulien Xian saw her action and painfully narrowed his eyes. "Such a strong aura. Then let's see if you have the ability." Mulien Xian responded. The people below thought that they would see a thrilling battle, but beat you up. Who asked you to pull me down? Beat me up again. So what if I say you're a hooligan? I already said that if I don't beat you up until you cry for your parents, then I'm not Little Seven. Didn't you say you wanted to kill me? Humph. Do you think this little grandaunt is so easy to kill? Hooligan. Hooligan. Little Seven rode on Mulien Xian's body and punched him again and again, but he couldn't even retaliate. How was this a thrilling battle? This was simply a one-sided abuse. The people below the stage were in a mess. Where did this monster pop out from? In less than a breath's time, Mulien Xian was pressed to the ground and beaten up by her. Was she still human? Baixing felt what was happening on the stage and his usual indifferent temperament disappeared. He came to the window and stared dumbfoundedly at Little Seven beating someone up. What the hell is this little brat? He swallowed his saliva. With this fighting power, even if he went up, he would be turned into dregs in seconds. Mulien Xian was beaten up until he was green and red. Blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth and nose. His eyes slowly turned scarlet red and his body started to go berserk. You still want to go berserk? Go and rest. Little Seven punched him and Mulien Xian's eyes flashed with unwillingness. Then, he fainted. That pair of eyes that had yet to turn completely red closed just like that. The berserk aura on his body slowly dissipated. I already told you not to provoke this little grandaunt. You still don't believe me. I said that I will beat you up until your parents can't recognize you. I will definitely not go back on my words. Little Seven stood up from his body and casually flicked her skirt. Seeing the blood on the front of her skirt and thinking of her posture just now, she shouted, Is my period here?" The originally petrified crowd was in a mess because of her words. Sima Yue's face was filled with black lines. She held her forehead and pretended to be dead. She didn't want to say that she knew this brat. Last time when she accidentally got blood on her pants, Little Seven asked her what it was. She casually replied that her period was here and even explained what it was. She didn't expect her to remember it. You're the eye of the earth and not a real woman. Where did your period come from? Shi Chen and Feng Kai saw Sima Yue acting like this and couldn't help but laugh out loud. How did this brat think of this? Chapter 942. The people from Blood Arena were also confused by this matter. Especially from Little Seven's appearance to the chaos caused by the word period, the people from Blood Arena felt as if they had entered another world. Finally, someone reacted and came to the front of the arena to ask, "Do you want to defend the arena?" Not guarding. Little Seven didn't even look at him. She grabbed Mulien Xian who was on the ground and flew towards the second floor. What's wrong with you?" Lil Seven asked when she saw Sima Yue lying on the windowsill listlessly. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven. She had delicate features and fair skin. She was supposed to be a little beauty. How did she become like this after evolving? Now, she really agreed with Mo Shaw's words. The Little Seven before she evolved was still better. Although she was cold and didn't like to talk to people, she was at least normal at that time. Although she also liked to beat people up, she wouldn't always talk about it. Furthermore, he wouldn't say such shocking words. Looking at her innocent eyes, she couldn't bring herself to reprimand her. Letting out a long sigh, he saw Mulien Xian in her hands and said, "Why did you bring him up? Didn't we agree that if he loses, he'll be mine? Of course we have to bring him up." Little Seven said, "This guy's battle power isn't bad, he's even stronger than Big Brother Shi Chen and the others. If we can take him in, he will be a great fighting force in the future. You didn't have to bring him here so quickly." Sima Yue said. "Why?" Little Seven looked at her in confusion. "This. Sigh, forget it. Since you brought them here, just put them aside," Sima Yue said. Bai Xing looked at Little Seven with a burning gaze. Little Seven felt her gaze and said, "You want to fight with me too?" Bai Xing shook his head. "I'm thinking, what kind of spirit beast did you transform from, to actually have such strong combat power?" "Humph, I'm not telling you." Little Seven lifted her chin and ignored him and Mulien Xian who was on the ground. She ran to Sima Yue's side and lay down to watch the competition with her. With Little Seven stirring up trouble, no one was interested in the rest of the competition. No one went up. It seemed like they were shocked by her. "Looks like we won't be able to see any exciting matches tonight," Shi Chen said. "A lot of people will probably come tomorrow," Feng Kai said. "Little Seven's news will spread out very soon. Those king of the 10 floors and whatnot will probably come," Shi Chen said. "Anyone else?" Sima Yue asked. "Of course. This Blood Fiend city was a big city and there were millions of people here. Moreover, most of them were spirit masters who had escaped, so there were naturally quite a number of experts. However, after fighting for a period of time, if they did not meet an opponent, they would choose to lay low for a period of time. I will only come out when I meet someone who is interested. Didn't they say that if they wanted to obtain top-grade crystals, they would have to fight in the arena?" Sima Yue asked. "Fighting in the arena is a part of the crystals they get, but not all of it. Moreover, after fighting for a period of time, people would choose to rest and find other things to do. For example, someone like Old Bai, who can open a tavern or inn. Oh. Then the people who will come in the next few days shouldn't be bad," Sima Yue said. The people she met today, other than Mulien Xian who was suitable for her, the rest of them were not good. If there were better people, she would like to choose again. Then let's continue tomorrow. Although Bai Xing had woken up, he still felt a little listless. I also feel that we can go back tonight. Little Seven's news will probably spread out tonight. Tomorrow we'll see those who came because of her reputation," Sima Yue said. When they left the private room, someone immediately came up to them. "Master Bai, are you leaving?" It was the same manager from before. When he spoke, he caught a glimpse of Little Seven. Tonight's people are too bad," Bai Xing said. "If Master Bai goes up, this competition will be very interesting," the manager said. "This old bag of bones won't join in the fun with them." Bai Xing took out a top-grade crystal and threw it to him, saying, "Tomorrow night, reserve a private room for me." All right," the manager replied happily. Earning 2 top-grade crystals in one night, not bad. Bai Xing and the rest left the blood arena. Sima Yue turned back and didn't understand why she felt weird when she arrived at the blood arena. Bai Xing looked at the moon in the sky, saying, "It's the 15th again?" Sima Yue looked at the protruding moon. The moon wasn't full yet. "It's really the 15th. Damn it, how could we forget about this?" Shi Chen and Feng Kai were frustrated. "What's wrong with the 15th?" Sima Yue asked. "What day is it today?" Bai Xing asked. "It's the 10th. What's wrong?" Sima Yue looked at them and didn't understand. "Every 15th, the moon will turn red and something will happen in the city," Shi Chen said. "Something will happen. What will happen?" "On the 15th of every month, the blood arena will close and everyone will stay in their own homes. If they come out, they will definitely go missing. Shi Chen said, or they will leave a pile of bones without blood. So when it's almost the 15th, everyone will become irritable and won't go out during the 15th, and 16th. Anyway, the entire city will be weird during those 2 days. Feng Kai concluded. Every month? Yes. Shi Chen said, we didn't think of it before we came, we'll come after these 2 days. Sima Yue felt that it didn't matter when they came, a red moon. That's interesting. There's still 5 days, seems like we can still see it. Yu, is there really a red moon? Little Seven pulled Sima Yue's hand and asked curiously. I haven't seen it before, but look at Shi Chen and the rest, it should be real. Sima Yue said. I haven't seen it before. When the time comes, we'll have to take a good look. Little Seven said excitedly. All right. The 4 of them, including Mu Lian Xian who was being dragged, slowly disappeared into the streets outside the blood arena. Little Seven's voice even floated over. Somewhere in Blood Fiend City, a man walked out from his house and looked at the huge tree in the courtyard, saying, Did you feel it? I felt it. He. It's so fragrant. The place where the voice came from was actually from inside the tree. The peerless treasure is here. Are you happy? The man asked. Happy. I want to eat it quickly. The leaves rustled. The man raised his head and looked at the sky. The moon was rounder than yesterday. Soon, it's going to be a full moon soon. The red moon is coming again. When the time comes, we'll be able to get that treasure. Red moon, full moon. The leaves rustled even more. Sima Yue, who was walking on the road, suddenly turned back and frowned. There was nothing. Yu, what's wrong? Nothing, let's go. Chapter 943. The next morning, Mu Lian Xian woke up from his deep sleep. When he opened his eyes and saw the unfamiliar environment, he jumped up. Creak, the so-called bed he had just been lying on was in pieces. My stool. Bai Xing popped his head out from behind the counter and saw the broken pieces of wood. You broke my stool, are you going to pay for it or are they going to pay for it? Master Bai? Mu Lian Xian was surprised to see Bai Xing. Now that he looked back at the place he was lying on, it was just 2 long wooden stools next to each other. It was not a bed at all. Because his jump was too big, the wooden stool couldn't withstand it and broke into pieces. Master Bai, why am I here? Mu Lian Xian took out 2 high-grade crystals and gave them to Bai Xing as compensation for the 2 wooden stools. Of course he was dragged. Brought here. Bai Xing said. Who? Mu Lian Xian remembered that he had been beaten unconscious. Humph, other than your aunt, who else would want you? Little Seven's voice came from the 2nd floor, and Mu Lian Xian's body froze. It's you. He turned around and looked at Little Seven who was on the 2nd floor. His fighting spirit rose again. What? Do you want to be beaten up by me? Little Seven waved her fist. Why did you bring me here? What are you doing? You're one of my people. Do you still need to tell me why I brought you back? Little Seven, if you say it like that, it's easy for people to misunderstand. Feng Kai's voice came from outside. Mu Lian Xian looked over and saw him leaning on the railing of the 2nd floor. If you break my railing, you have to compensate me. Bai Xing said without raising his head. Old Bai, I know why you only have me and Yu as guests. Little Seven propped her head on the railing and said, with the speed at which you extort people, no matter how rich they are, they wouldn't dare to stay here. If they leave, they'll definitely become a pauper. My price here is very fair. Bai Xing said, if not, you wouldn't be staying here, right? We didn't come here because of this. Little Seven said, anyway, if you follow us, you won't have to pay for the room. Hee. Bai Xing smiled and didn't say anything else. Mu Lian Xian had been looking at Little Seven the whole time. Seeing that she had finished talking to Bai Xing, she turned and walked out. Hey hey hey, hooligan, stop right there. Little Seven shouted at him. Seeing that he was ignoring her, she flashed and appeared in front of him. Stop right there. Little Seven opened her arms and blocked his path. What do you want to do? Mulian Xian's face darkened, and he was very unhappy. We have an agreement. If I defeat you, you will follow me. What, are you trying to go back on your word now? Little Seven waved her fist. Do you need me to remind you? When Mulian Xian recalled what happened last night, his face was so black that water could drip out. Go away. Rogue, are you planning to go back on your word? The smile on Little Seven's face disappeared, and she was burning with rage. Someone is going to be miserable. Feng Kai reached out to cover his eyes. Then, he heard the sound of banging and banging. Bai Sheng was overjoyed. These things were all money now. If Little Seven damaged it, wouldn't she have to compensate him? When Sima Yue came out of the house, Mulian Xian was beaten unconscious again. Little Seven, how can you talk to him when he's unconscious? She shook her head. Leave this fellow to me. Little Seven said. Can you? Don't worry, I'll settle him in 2 days. Little Seven said confidently. All right then, I'll leave him to you. Sima Yue said. Yu, give me some pills. Anything that can wake him up or recover his energy. Give me some. Little Seven said. Sima Yue came down and took out a pile of pills for her. Take it easy, don't kill him. He won't. Little Seven took the pills and carried Mulian Xian upstairs. I haven't compensated for my table and chair. Bai Xing shouted at Little Seven. Little Seven turned around and said, Do you want my fist? Is my fist worth money? Bai Xing asked. If I beat you half to death and you ask Yu for pills, then it'll be worth money. Little Seven said. What a strong reason. Seeing that Bai Xing didn't say anything, Little Seven carried Mulian Xian into the room. Not long later, there were sounds of banging and banging. Luckily this house was sturdier and didn't collapse. Sima Yue walked to the counter and placed one hand on the counter. Looking at Bai Sheng, she said, Do you want to make a deal with me? What deal? I'll give you a life and chance to take revenge. You give me your life. Half a day later, Feng Kai and Shi Chen sat in the hall of the inn, waiting for the situation upstairs. Say, how's their discussion going? Feng Kai asked. Old Bai will follow us. Shi Chen said confidently, Boss has this ability. I think so too. But there's no movement for so long, I wonder what's going on inside. They should be curing Old Bai's poison. Shi Chen guessed, but if they don't come out soon, it'll be too late to go to the blood arena. Creak, the sound of the building manager opening the door was heard. Both of them looked over. They saw Little Seven happily coming down from upstairs, followed by a bruised and swollen Mulian Xian. Although Mulian Xian looked at Little Seven with dissatisfaction, he obediently followed behind her. Settled? Feng Kai raised his eyebrows. Of course, with me, there's nothing I can't settle. Little Seven proudly lifted her chin. Mulian Xian, you're really willing to follow us? Shi Chen asked. Only by following will I have a chance to win her. Mulian Xian said. This goal is not bad. Work hard, one day you'll win her. Feng Kai couldn't help but laugh. I'll win. Mulian Xian said confidently. I'll wait. Little Seven smiled. I said that as long as you can win me, I'll force you to stay. Then you'll regain your freedom. Mulian Xian's face darkened. His gaze towards Little Seven was still filled with battle intent. Creak, the sound of the door opening came from upstairs again. Needless to say, it was Yue. After Sima Yue said that sentence, both of them went into the house to talk and only came out now. Shi Chen and the rest turned their gaze over and waited for Sima Yue to announce the result. Sima Yue and Bai Xing came down from upstairs and said, Let's go, we should go to the blood arena. Boss, old bye, you guys finished talking? Feng Kai asked. Done. Before we leave, I'll give him the antidote and he'll follow us. In the future, he'll be like you guys, one of us. Sima Yuyue didn't talk about their conversation in detail. Thinking about his situation, Sima Yuyue couldn't help but sigh. She lamented that the future wasn't going to be easy. But this Bai Sheng was indeed a powerful person. He was very powerful and she lacked people like him. Let's go. Not long later, the blood arena will open. Tonight, I think it'll be an eternal memory of the blood arena. Chapter 944. When Sima Yuyue and the rest arrived at the blood arena, they were immediately surrounded by the crowd. Are they the people from last night? Yes. Someone said with certainty, even if the others don't recognize her, that little girl is the one who beat Mulien Xian up until he couldn't retaliate. They really came. Hee, it's not just them. Many hidden experts have also come today. Tonight's match will be very interesting. I'm also looking forward to it. They've gone in. Let's go in too. Let's go in and watch the show. It was the same manager from yesterday, and it was the same private room from yesterday. There are indeed quite a lot of people here tonight. Shurchen looked at the many familiar faces and said, many of them were the king of the 10th floor and the king of the 17th floor when we were still here. Looks like it won't be easy to recruit people tonight. Sima Yuyue was lying on the same windowsill as yesterday. She looked at the bracelets on the arms of the people below and evaluated their strength. There are indeed quite a number of experts. Sima Yuyue said, however, close combat doesn't necessarily depend on strength. Using 4 tails to deflect 1,000 caddies is the highest realm of close combat. Bai Xing saw the confidence in Sima Yuyue's eyes and thought back to the long battle that day. Even though he had suppressed his abilities, he did not gain the upper hand. Moreover, she might not have used all of her strength. Moreover, when she fought with him that day, many of his powerful attacks were easily neutralized by her. How about we fight again sometime? Sure. Sima Yuyue also wanted to have a good fight with him. She could learn a lot from fighting with him. Yuyu, should I go tonight? Little Seven clenched her fists, looking eager to give it a try. No. Sima Yuyue looked at the people below. I'll do it tonight. All right. I'll do it tomorrow night. Little Seven knew that Yuyue was always right. She didn't want to throw a tantrum with her at this time. They waited for a while longer, and more experts came in. Those who came in all looked at them at the same time. It seems that these people are here for us. Feng Kai noticed this and said with a smile. To be exact, they're here for Little Seven. Shurchen said, but if they knew that the last person to go up was Sima Yuyue, what would their expressions be like? They will be very disappointed at first, and then very shocked. Feng Kai had already guessed their expressions. Boss will definitely suppress everyone with his skills. At that time, these people. Before Shurchen could finish his words, the sound of gongs and drums could be heard from below, indicating that tonight's competition had officially begun. A man in a black robe took the lead and went up to the stage. He shouted towards Sima Yuyue's room, the little girl from yesterday, are you willing to come down and fight with me? Little Seven was lying on the windowsill. When she heard her name being called, she shook her head and said, I'm not going tonight. Tonight, my Yuyu will take the stage. Not going up? Then wouldn't it be a waste for him to come here tonight? Sima Yuyue leaped from the window and landed on the arena. She said, I'll take on everyone tonight. You? Her servant? That man looked at Sima Yuyue. How many rounds could a weak and gentle brat fight? Servant, your sister, this is my brother. Little Seven shouted. That man shrugged his shoulders indifferently and said, I want to fight with you. I don't want to fight with anyone else. But since she's already on the arena, I have to fight even if I don't want to. Little girl, if I win against her, will you come down and fight with me? You have to win against you first. Little Seven didn't take his words to heart. Please. That man didn't even think of saying his name. Sima Yuyue didn't mind his disdain and said, before the competition, I have something to say. Don't worry, I won't beat you until you're crippled. If I beat you up too badly, what will happen to her? Sima Yuyue smiled and shook her head. She said, that's not what I want to say. Then what is it? Sima Yuyue looked at the surrounding people and said, I'm Siyu. I'm here this time to look for someone. Look for someone? Yes, to find someone who is willing to follow me. Sima Yuyue said, for those with 10 rings and above, if they win against me, I'll give them 1,000 top-grade crystals. If they lose, they have to follow me willingly. Ha ha ha, when the crowd heard what she said, they burst into laughter. This is the funniest joke I've heard in Blood Fiend City. Isn't that so? Is there something wrong with this person's brain? Don't tell me he's been beaten, silly. He hasn't been beaten yet, how did he become silly? Sima Yuyue didn't get angry when she saw their reaction. She smiled and continued, if you abide by my 2 conditions, you can come up. If you lose and refuse to follow me, then I'll send you straight to hell. Her words were so light but people could feel a trace of blood. Why do we have to follow you? Someone asked. That's right, how is it possible for us to follow you for just 1 match? If you follow me, I'll naturally give you what you want. Sima Yuyue said. Ha ha ha. You 2 fellows. How can we lose to him? But I'm very tempted by his 1,000 top-grade crystals. Me too, if he dares to stand guard, I'll go up and get some top-grade crystals for Hua Hua. Sima Yuyue came to the side of the arena. With a wave of her hand, 1,000 top-grade crystals appeared beside her. She took a look at the people around her and said, the crystals are right here. If you want them, you can come up. But before you come up, you have to think carefully. It's not that easy to take my crystals. Ha ha ha, looks like my luck is better. The man on the arena laughed. Sima Yuyue looked at him and said, King of the 10th floor. Barely meets the conditions. Wait a minute. A man from Wairo interrupted Sima Yuyue's words, if he takes your 1,000, you won't play anymore? If this person won, then the 1,000 top-grade crystals would be taken away by him. What would the others play then? You don't have to worry about that. Sima Yuyue waved her hand and another 1,000 top-grade crystals appeared beside her. There's a lot of crystals. If you like them, you can come up and take them. Let's begin. That person licked his lips and looked at the crystals with sparkling eyes. Let's make this clear first. If you lose, are you willing to follow me and follow me? We'll talk about it after you win. That person could not wait any longer and attacked Sima Yuyue. In a house behind the Blood Arena, a few managers were in the house. They looked at the old man sitting on the main seat and asked, Third Master, should we interfere? That third master twirled 2 small metal balls in his hand and said faintly, the higher-up said, don't interfere. Let them play however they want. Yes. Chapter 945. Read 336. The king of the 10th floor was no match for Sima Yuyue. After a few rounds, he was beaten to the ground. Sima Yuyue leaned over him and asked, Can you tell me now? Are you willing to follow me? Impossible. The man refused without thinking. There's no such rule in the Blood Arena. If you lose, you'll have to follow you. Are you sure? Sima Yuyue asked. Yes. Do you remember what I said just now? If you want to take my crystal, you have to follow my rules. If you lose, you have to follow me. If you don't, then... She grabbed his head with both hands and twisted it to the side. With a crack, that person's neck was broken. Sima Yuyue stood up and with a kick, the corpse was kicked down. The entire Blood Arena quieted down instantly. They did not expect Sima Yuyue to kill her without hesitation. It seemed like she wasn't joking. Who else wants to come up? Sima Yuyue looked at the audience and asked. The people below the stage were waiting, waiting for the people from the blood arena to appear. Her actions conflicted with the interests of the blood field, and they would not tolerate her actions. However, after waiting for 2 minutes, the people from the blood arena did not appear. At this time, everyone understood that the blood arena had tacitly agreed and did not intend to interfere in this matter. "I'll do it." A burly man jumped up. Sima Yue counted his bracelets. 10, king of the 10th floor. Hu Yang, nicknamed Big Beard, "I want to experience your strength." Hu Yang said. "Agree with my rules?" Sima Yue asked. "I agree. But I have a few questions." Hu Yang said. "Ask away." "You're not from Blood Fiend City?" "No." "If we follow you, we have to leave Blood Fiend City?" "Yes. We're all people with enemies. Can you guarantee our safety if we go out with you?" "That depends on your performance. As long as you listen to me, you won't have to worry about your life." Sima Yue said, "Only those who follow me will know the details." "Is that okay?" "That's enough. Come on." Hu Yang took out an axe, held it tightly with both hands and swung it at Sima Yue. Although he was tall and big, his movements were quite agile. His attack on Sima Yue was fast, ruthless, and accurate. Sima Yue did not use any weapons and fought with him barehanded. Every time the axe was about to hit her, she would easily dodge it. Ha! Hu Yang seized the opportunity and hacked at Sima Yue's head. Just as she was about to be hacked into 2 halves, Sima Yue lowered her body and grabbed the blade with both hands. The axe stopped a few centimeters away from her head. Hu Yang exerted all his strength to push down, but Sima Yue clamped it with both of her hands, making it impossible for him to push it down. Ha! She moved the axe to the side, and then with the help of her hands, she soared into the air and kicked Hu Yang's head. Hu Yang could feel the strong wind from Sima Yue's leg. He had no choice but to step back and retract his axe. What a beautiful counterattack! The audience cheered. Sima Yue seized the opportunity to attack. She dodged his axe and came to his side. She grabbed his arm with her left hand and tapped on his wrist with her right hand. Hu Yang's hand went numb and the axe fell to the ground. Ugh! Sima Yue took advantage of the situation and pulled his hand behind his back, placing it behind his back. Hu Yang wanted to use his right hand to counterattack, but before he could move, he was caught by Sima Yue. Hu Yang struggled with both of his hands, but realized that he could not pull them out. Sima Yue looked petite, but she was shockingly strong. Sima Yue kicked Hu Yang's knee and he knelt down. No matter how hard he struggled, he could not break free from her grip. He dropped his weapon and could not move his body. The result of this competition was obvious. You lost. Sima Yue freed one of her hands and grabbed his head. If she used more strength, he would definitely die. Hu Yang felt the strength on his head. Although he was unwilling, he had to admit it. You won. I will follow you from now on. Awesome. Sima Yue let go of him and stood up to pick up the axe. She passed it to him and smiled, "Go down and wait." Hu Yang looked at the crystals at the side of the arena and secretly regretted. If only he was not greedy for these crystals. But there was no medicine for regret in this world. He could only accept the result. Sima Yue looked at the people below and asked, "Is there anyone else coming up?" 2 hours later, there were 3 corpses on the side of the arena. They were all people who lost but refused to follow Sima Yue. There were a few people standing beside Hu Yang. The manager of the blood arena stood behind and looked at Sima Yue. "Third master, she did not follow the rules. Other than the 3 people she killed, the others did not bleed." "No worries," Third master said calmly. There was no blood now, but there would be more later. "Let me." Another person jumped onto the arena. King of the 17 arenas. Sima Yue saw the bracelet on his arm. "I, Wang Mao, would like to experience it." After Wang Mao finished speaking, he used his hand as a knife and quickly attacked Sima Yue. Moving like the wind, this phrase was very apt to describe Wang Mao. His movements seemed to be faster than the wind. After he attacked, everyone could only see a shadow. But even so, Sima Yuyue was able to accurately avoid his attacks. After a few minutes, she figured out the pattern of his attacks. Every time he attacked, she would be able to gain the upper hand by striking first, completely restraining him. Boss's movements are very light and she knows how to use her strength. Every time she doesn't use a lot of strength, but she is always able to restrain these people. Feng Kai said. Maybe, this is what she meant by using 4 ounces to achieve 1,000 caddies. Bai Xing looked at Sima Yoyue's many battles and felt that if he went down to fight with her, he might not win. Mu Lian Xian looked at Sima Yuyue, his eyes filled with a strong desire to fight. I already said that Yu is very powerful. Little Seven smiled and said. Seeing Mu Lian Xian's eyes lit up, she said, You can't beat Yu, don't think about it. Why don't you think about how to increase your strength and defeat me quickly? I will. Mu Lian Xian said coldly. He would work hard to defeat her, and work hard to leave them earlier. Wang Mao is going to lose. Shi Chen said as he saw Wang Mao being pressured by Sima Yuyue. Looks like Yuyue is going to. What is he going to do? Feng Kai shouted. Wang Mao took out a dagger and made a cut on his arm. Blood flowed out and flowed down his arm. Sima Yuyue squinted her eyes and knew what he was thinking. In this arena, as long as someone saw blood, they would become crazier and their battle power would soar. Wang Mao was at a disadvantage now. If he saw blood, he would quickly enter a crazy state. As expected, when the blood dripped onto the arena, he became crazy. His eyes turned red and looked at Sima Yuyue as if he wanted to tear her apart. I never thought that Wang Mao would be forced to this stage by her. Bai Xing shook his head and sighed, but even so, he is still not Yuyue's opponent. Chapter 946. After going berserk, Wang Mao's movements were faster, his strength was greater, and his attacks were more ferocious. Yuyue, who had fought many battles in a row, found it difficult to deal with him. However, that was only strenuous. 10 minutes later, Sima Yuyue seized the opportunity and punched Wang Mao in the chest, knocking him to the ground. Then, she dislocated his legs at lightning speed, making him unable to stand up. Then, she dislocated his hands during the fight. At this point, the outcome was clear. Sima Yuyue used the metal element to form a long sword and pressed it against his throat. If it went in just a little bit, he would definitely die on the spot. You lost. Wang Mao stared straight at her and was silent for a minute. In the end, he had to admit that he had lost. I will keep my promise, he said. Sima Yuyue dispersed her spiritual power and squatted beside him. She grabbed his arms and legs and reattached them. Then, she took out a pill and fed it to him. Come up and help him down. Sima Yuyue said to the poplars below. See you, why don't you just throw him down? De Chi said as he whistled. That's how we treat our enemies. He's one of us now, Sima Yuyue said. Hu Yang was stunned for a moment, then he jumped up and helped Wang Mao down. Sima Yuyue took out a pill and swallowed it. Including this round, she had already fought 12 rounds. She had killed 3 people and taken in 9 people. Moreover, they were all king of the 10 rounds and above. Is there anyone else coming up? She looked at the people below. Even the king of the 17 floors was defeated, who else would dare to say that they could defeat her? After a few minutes, no one came up. Sima Yuyue thought for a while and took out a pile of top-grade crystals. Increase the chips to 3,000. If you want it, you can come and try. Still, no one came forward. It seems that no one is willing to go up. Bai Xing said, but that's true, she has such strong fighting power. Every time she wins, it's an expert, so the others naturally wouldn't dare to go up. Then you won't be able to recruit anyone. Little Seven said. Boss, since you're tired, let me handle the remaining 8 matches. Bai Xing said to Sima Yuyue. Sima Yuyue looked at Bai Xing and nodded, okay. She flew to the second floor, and at the same time, Bai Xing came to the arena. Bai Xing did not wear a bracelet, so some newcomers did not know how powerful he was. But to those people in the past, when they saw Bai Xing, they fell silent. Old Bai, are you following her as well? Old Bai is untalented, I'm willing to accept my loss. Bai Xing said, I'll take on the remaining 8 battles. I think I can handle these crystals too. You can decide on the rules. Sima Yuyue gave her the authority unconditionally. Bai Xing cupped his hands towards Sima Yuyue and said to the others, is anyone willing to fight with me? As soon as he finished speaking, a feminine-looking man jumped up. It was the one who had asked the question earlier. Situ Cheng, I've always wanted to spar with Master Bai. Situ Cheng said. Situ Cheng, the king of the 14th floor from many years ago, I remember you. Bai Xing said, are you willing to follow our rules? Although I don't like this kind of competition that determines the future, but if this is the only way to fight with you, then I can only accept it. Situ Cheng finished speaking and attacked Bai Xing. Sima Yuyue had fought for so long just now, and now that she was resting, she was really tired. I'll leave the rest to Bai Xing, I'll go into rest. She said to the 3 of them. Go ahead, Yu, we'll guard here for you. Little Seven waved at her and said. Sima Yuyue went into the house and started to rest. When she opened her eyes again, the competition was nearing its end. You killed 1 and recruited 6. There's only 1 left. Little Seven saw her coming over and reported the results to her. Sima Yuyue took a look at those people. Situ Cheng was indeed already inside. Old Bai's ability is indeed not bad. Sima Yuyue saw that he didn't look tired after fighting so many rounds, and praised. Boss, how's the poison in Old Bai's body now? Feng Kai asked. I checked on him in the morning, it's a little tricky, but it's not incurable. Sima Yuyue said, but it has to be settled before we leave Blood Fiend City. His current condition doesn't allow him to leave this place. Thank you, boss. What's there to thank, he's one of us now. If we want him to work hard, we naturally have to give him a good body. Sima Yuyue said. It's almost over. Little Seven said. Sima Yuyue and the rest looked down, just in time to see the opponent admitting defeat. From then on, the 20 rounds of competition tonight had completely ended. At this moment, the people from Blood Arena came out and announced the end of the competition tonight. Tomorrow Little Seven will take action, those who want to watch, those who want to challenge, don't miss it. By the way, tomorrow's weight will also be increased. Bai Xing finished speaking, turned around and left the arena, bringing a group of people with him as he left. When they came, there were 5 of them, and when they left, there were only 21 of them. It was already early in the morning and the air was still slightly chilly. The sky in the east had already turned white and a ray of sunlight pierced through the clouds, illuminating the road ahead. Back at Bai Xing's inn, Sima Yuyue started to understand them one by one. Since you're my people now, then you naturally have to listen to me in the future. As one of us, I won't treat you badly. Sima Yuyue said. I want to know, what's your motive for recruiting us? Very simple, I've set up a force and I need manpower. And you guys happen to be the best candidates for me. Sima Yuyue said. Why, we all have a grudge against each other. Did you think of this before looking for us? Situ Cheng asked. Of course I did. Sima Yuyue said, to tell you the truth, my motive for setting up a force is for revenge. So I need a group of outlaws. And they happen to be this kind of people. When everyone heard what she said, their faces changed. Don't worry, I'm doing this for revenge and not to send you guys to your deaths. So I won't let you guys go and kill people now. Sima Yuyue said, I'll give you guys pills, spiritual weapons, spiritual beasts and other things that you need to strengthen yourselves. When we have enough confidence, then we'll take action. Also, I'll give you guys the honest and honorable life that you want. Those enemies of yours, one person might think that they're very strong, but if everyone is united, then they're nothing to be afraid of. You guys can think about this problem carefully. Everyone was silent. Now that you guys are already on this boat, it's impossible to get off. But you guys can slowly digest this matter and weigh the pros and cons. Sure, Chin, I still have things to settle, so you guys can tell them the rest of the situation. Yes, boss. I hope that when I come out, you guys have already thought it through. After saying that, Sima Yue turned around and went upstairs to nurse Shui Qing Man's body. Chapter 947. When Sima Yue came out, everyone understood what Sima Yue meant. Most of them wanted to try it with her. There were also 2 people who didn't understand, but they still wanted to follow them. For example, Mu Lian Xian's goal was to defeat Little Seven. Yu, someone is looking for you. Little Seven heard the door open and shouted from downstairs. Someone was looking for him? Who would look for her here? She went downstairs and saw 2 unfamiliar people standing in the lobby. This must be young Master Siyu. One of the men cupped his hands towards Sima Yue and said, I am the steward of the city lord's residence. My city lord would like to invite you and this young lady over as guests. The city lord invited us? Sima Yue was surprised. Yes. That steward said, City Lord heard that there are 2 experts from Blood Fiend City and would like to invite you to the City Lord's residence as guests. Just us? Yes. The steward replied, the City Lord said that he's just going to sit for a while. It won't affect your business tonight. It seemed like the City Lord understood everything clearly. This was someone else's territory, so he had to go. That's good. Sima Yue smiled and said, Little Seven, follow me to the City Lord's residence. Sure, Chen, if we don't return by the time, you guys can go directly to the blood arena. As for these people, do as I instructed. We understand, boss. Sure, Chen nodded. Young Master Siyu, please. Sir Butler, please. There were 2 beast carriages parked at the entrance. When they saw Sima Yue, one of them gave her 2 noses to wake her up. Young Master Siyu, please board the carriage. The moment the butler finished speaking, the coachman beside him immediately opened the carriage door. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand and boarded the carriage in front while the butler boarded the carriage at the back. There was no need for the coachman to drive the carriage as the carriage started to run towards the Castellan's residence. Yu, do you think the City Lord of Blood Fiend City looks very scary? Little Seven asked. Why do you ask? If I don't look like a burly man, how would I be able to subdue these outlaws in Blood Fiend City? Hee, you'll know when you see it. The 2 of them chatted and laughed in the car, and soon, they arrived at the City Lord's mansion in the city center. The Castellan's mansion looked majestic and domineering, but Sima Yue did not sense anyone's aura here. Young Master Siyu, young lady Little Seven, please follow me. The housekeeper came down from behind and waved his hand. The 2 beast carriages then drove off. Sima Yue and Little Seven followed the housekeeper into the City Lord mansion. However, they did not bring her to the main hall in the front yard. Instead, they walked a long distance and went to a remote courtyard at the back. When they entered, they saw a man in white sitting under a towering tree, holding a cup of tea in his hand. City Lord, young Master Siyu and young lady Little Seven are here. The housekeeper stepped forward and reported. Welcome to the 2 distinguished guests, I am Blood Fiend City Lord, Li Hong. Please take a seat. The man looked at them, his eyes lifeless. Sima Yue did not expect that the Blood Fiend City Lord, who was dressed in white and did not have the aura of the mortal world, was actually blind. Sima Yue pulled Little Seven to sit in front of Li Hong and said, I didn't expect that we would actually alarm City Lord Li and be received by City Lord Li. Young Master Siyu is too courteous. I don't have much to receive you, only a cup of tea, I hope you don't mind. Although Li Hong could not see, but his actions of pouring the tea were very nimble and the water level was just right. He poured a cup to the brim and pushed it in front of Sima Yue, then poured another cup for Little Seven. Sima Yuyue lifted the teacup and brought it to her nose to take a whiff, praising, "What a fragrant tea, I've never drunk this kind of tea before." These tea leaves were dried from the blood demon tree's tender shoots. "The taste is very unique, you can try it," Li Hong said. Sima Yuyue took a sip lightly. This tea was indeed very fragrant. However, she frowned slightly. Little Seven took a whiff and did not drink it. "How is it?" Li Hong looked at them expectantly, even though he could not see. Sima Yuyue put down the teacup and smiled faintly. "It's not bad." "Then why isn't Miss Little Seven drinking it?" "Little Seven has never liked tea." Sima Yuyue mentioned Little Seven. "She only likes to eat snacks. Sweets are delicious," Little Seven said. "City Lordly, please don't laugh at us," Sima Yuyue said with a smile. "Why would I? It's normal for children to like sweets and not tea." Li Hong smiled and said. His smile was very faint, making people feel very comfortable. "These tea leaves were all plucked from the blood demon tree?" Sima Yuyue raised her head to look at the huge tree. It had huge tree roots, but there were very few branches and leaves. "Yes. Every spring, there will be many tender shoots. After the spring rain, the taste is the freshest," Li Hong said. "The tea is good, but the name is a little scary," Sima Yuyue said, not touching the teacup again. The Blood Demon Tree and Blood Fiend City were around the same time. No one knows what this tree was called in the past, so we named it after the city. Li Hong seemed to not have noticed that she did not drink tea. "My city lord's residence doesn't have anything good. Since young Master Siyu likes it, please take a bag of tea leaves with you when you leave later. Take it as a token of my appreciation." Sima Yuyue saw his smile, as if there was a power that she could not bear to reject. She nodded and said, "In that case, Siyu will thank City Lordly. It's good that young Master Siyu likes it." Li Hong smiled faintly. "City Lordly, you didn't call me here today just to taste the tea, right?" Sima Yuyue asked. "Hee, would you believe me if I said so?" Li Hong asked. "No," Sima Yuyue said frankly. "Hee, young Master Siyu is really straightforward." Li Hong laughed. "Actually, I didn't call young Master Siyu here for anything. I just heard about what happened at the Blood Arena last night and the night before, so I wanted to see what kind of people have such battle power. I also wanted to ask, what is your motive for doing this?" Sima Yuyue remained silent and he continued, "Actually, I don't mean to blame you. But for the safety of the people in the city, I still wanted to ask. We just want to find some people here to go back." Sima Yuyue said, "Those who lost the bet, follow me. Those who don't want to participate, Siyu won't say anything. Only those who participated in it but wanted to deny it would be punished. As for whether they participate or not, they have the freedom to do so." "Just this?" "Just this. In that case, it indeed won't affect the safety of Blood Fiend City." Li Hong said, "Then if there's nothing else, let's continue to taste the tea." After more than an hour, the butler sent Sima Yuyue and the rest off. Before they left, Li Hong passed her a bag of tea leaves and said with a smile, "Chatting with young Master Siyu is really a joyful experience. This is the last new bag of tea this year. I think the Blood Demon Tree will be very happy to give it to young Master Siyu." Chapter 948. Sima Yuyue looked at the smile on his lips and raised her eyes to look at the Blood Demon Tree. A gust of wind blew and the leaves of the Blood Demon Tree rustled. She received the tea leaves with both hands and said with a smile, "Thank you for your hospitality, City Lordly. I know you're going to the Blood Arena, so I won't keep you any longer." Li Hong said, "I hope I can treat you to tea again next time. Goodbye, see you." Sima Yuyue cupped her hands towards Li Hong and left with the butler. Li Hong watched her leave. Her elegant temperament was no longer there. Her body exuded a bloodthirsty aura, and her eyes were bright. She did not look like a blind person at all. He cracked his neck and said, "Every time I'm trapped inside, I feel so aggrieved. Stop struggling. Your strength is no match for mine." It's better for you to obediently stay inside. Little tree, how is it? Are you sure? The blood demon tree rustled. Hee hee, that's good. On the other side, Sima Yue walked out of the city lord residence. She didn't let the coachman follow her. Instead, she walked towards the blood arena with Little Seven. Yu, why didn't you let them send us off? Little Seven asked. The blood arena competition is about to start. Sima Yue called Guang out and sat on top of him, asking him to bring them to the blood arena. That city lord mansion is too strange. It's better for us to go to the blood arena ourselves. Yu also thinks it's strange? Little Seven said, I don't know what's strange, but after going in, I did feel strange. That tea is the same. I don't want to drink it just by smelling it. That blood demon tree is very bloody. Sima Yue said. Very bloody? You didn't drink the tea, but you know it tastes strange. The tea smelled really good at first, but once I drank it, there was a bloody taste. Sima Yue said, the bloody taste was very faint, but I could still taste it. Those are the tea leaves of the blood demon tree. In that case, the blood demon tree is bloody. Little Seven guessed. Moreover, that city lord is very strange. Sima Yue said, did you realize that he kept mentioning the blood demon tree either intentionally or unintentionally? Little Seven thought about it and said, I think so. He wants us to notice that tree. Sima Yue said, if there's something wrong with this tree, he wouldn't want us to know about it, let alone notice it. It's too strange for him to do that. Indeed. Little Seven said, the moment I saw that blood demon tree, I felt uncomfortable. It was strange. Then, yeah, have you thought of anything? Sima Yue shook her head. Let's discuss it with them when we get back. When they arrived at the blood arena, tonight's match had already begun. The steward led them to a private room. When Sima Yue went upstairs, she saw Bai Xing talking to the manager of the blood arena. There was no one competing on the arena. Hasn't the competition started tonight? She asked the steward who was leading the way. It has already started, but because you all didn't come, everyone is waiting. The manager said. Waiting for us? Sima Yue was surprised. We're here. Young Master Sima Yue, you can ask them. After that person led Sima Yue up, he didn't say anything and left. Sima Yue went in and saw Shi Chen and Feng Kai sitting at the table. Mu Lian Xian was here too, but the atmosphere in the room was a little gloomy. What's wrong? Why are you all so listless? Sima Yue asked. Boss, you're finally here. Feng Kai was suddenly energized. What's wrong? Those people said that since Little Seven didn't come tonight, they wouldn't come up. Shi Chen said. Yay, they miss me so much. Little Seven giggled, then I'll treat them well. After she finished speaking, she leaped and flew onto the arena. Which one of you missed me? I, Little Seven, am here, come on. The rules are the same as last night? That's right. Little Seven wanted to take out the top-grade crystals, but she remembered that she didn't have any, so she turned her gaze towards Sima Yue on the second floor. Sima Yue waved her hand and a pile of crystals appeared on the arena. Come, defeat me and these are yours. Little Seven waved her hand generously. I'll do it. A man wearing a red singlet jumped up. King of the 11th floor, this strength was no challenge to Little Seven. In less than a minute, that person was already sprawled on the ground. It's not enough. Little Seven shook her head and said to the people below, you can all come up together. As long as you win against me, you can each get this many top-grade crystals. Boom, the people below were in an uproar. One person couldn't beat them, but how could a group of people not win? Do you mean what you say? Someone asked. Of course. Do you have that many crystals? If everyone won, what would they do if they didn't have that many crystals? Little Seven looked at Sima Yue. Sima Yue took out a crystal card and threw it down. You all know about this crystal card, right? Every crystal card has a minimum amount. Little 7 threw the crystal card onto the pile of crystals from before. Come, you can have as many people as you want. But the prerequisite is that you all have to abide by our agreement. Otherwise, don't blame me for settling the score. The people below the arena looked at each other and then swarmed up like a swarm of bees. In an instant, there were 10 to 20 more people on the arena. Many of those who came here weren't gentlemen. They could come up together and definitely wouldn't come alone. Little 7 clenched her fists excitedly. Only with so many people could she stimulate the fighting spirit in her body. Her figure quickly shuttled through the crowd. Wherever she went, those people were either sent flying or collapsed on the ground. After a round, those people couldn't touch her at all. Not only were the people below stunned by her, even Shi Chen, Feng Kai, and Mu Lianxin who were upstairs were dumbfounded. This battle prowess was too fearsome. Boss, what is little 7's strength? Feng Kai finally found his voice. I don't know either. Sima Yuyue said, but I haven't seen her lose before. Once when she fought with an old monster, the other party didn't gain any advantage. So powerful. Everyone looked at little 7's small body and felt as though they were looking at a monster. Mu Lianxin was even more shocked. His motive for following little 7 was to defeat her. But such a valiant person like her, when would he be able to defeat her? Third Master, this young lady is so powerful. Will she do anything to us? Do we have to do anything? No need to worry. Third Master said calmly. Master said that as long as they don't leave Blood Fiend City, we don't have to care about anything. Yes. That night, little 7 defeated 1 to 200 people. All of them were insta-killed. Finally, they brought their people back to Bai Xing's inn in a grandiose manner. This time, Sima Yuyue didn't lecture them personally but handed it over to Shi Chen and Feng Kai. Then she pulled Bai Xing into the room. Chapter 949. Read 336. Sima Yuyue performed acupuncture on Old Bai before asking, Old Bai, have you ever thought about why your poison is suppressed in Blood Fiend City? Bai Xing put on his clothes and said, I have thought about it. But the reason has never been found. Have you checked it out? Sima Yuyue asked. Yes. I have been to every corner of Blood Fiend City for the past 100 years just to find out the reason. Especially after I felt something strange in my body recently, I wanted to see if there were any changes. But after going out to check many times, I came back with no results. Bai Xing said, Why, what did you find out? When I went to the city lord's mansion today, it was indeed a little strange. Sima Yuyue said, to be exact, ever since I entered Blood Fiend City, I've always had a doubt in my mind. Oh. What strange things have you discovered? When we enter the city, we can only use high-grade crystal stones. No one can cultivate in the city, only high-grade crystal stones. Isn't this a very strange thing? Sima Yuyue said, that blood arena is strange too. It seems to be a place for entertainment, but no one knows what it does behind the scenes. That arena was even more demonic. After seeing blood, that person would definitely go crazy. Everything doesn't make sense. Bai Xing did not expect that Sima Yuyue would discover so many problems in just 2 to 3 days after coming to the city. Sima Yuyue took out the packet of tea leaves that Li Hong gave her and passed it to Bai Xing. Look at this. Bai Xing opened the packaging and saw the tea leaves inside. He took out a little and smelled it. These are the leaves of the blood demon tree? You know about the blood demon tree too? Sima Yuyue asked, then have you drunk the tea brewed from these tea leaves? Bai Xing shook his head and said, there's only a little of this tea every year and it's always been the city lord who drinks it. I've never seen him give it to anyone else. I didn't expect him to give it to you. What's wrong with the tea leaves? You'll know once you try. Sima Yuyue used the tea leaves to brew a cup of tea and passed it to Bai Xing. After Bai Xing drank it, he carefully savored it and said, there's nothing special about it? Can't you tell that there's a bit of blood in it? Sima Yuyue said. Bai Xing drank another mouthful and sensed it more carefully. After a while, he said, "That's right, there is indeed a faint smell of blood. This is the tea from the blood demon tree. Why would it have the smell of blood? What do you think? Unless you keep winning blood irrigation, otherwise there won't be." Bai Xing said. "No matter what, I don't think a tree with the smell of blood is anything good," Sima Yue said. "Then why would the city lord give this to you? Doesn't he know?" Bai Xing was puzzled. "No, I think he knows. Furthermore, it seems like he has been hinting to me, asking me to pay attention to that tree." Sima Yu continued, "But I don't get it. It's just a tree. Why would he keep hinting me? Old Bai, do you know anything about that tree? Blood demon tree?" Bai Xing thought for a while and said, "Speaking of which, no one has paid attention to this tree. If you didn't mention it, I wouldn't have thought of this tree. But thinking about it, this tree has always been here, no one knows when it was planted. It was a long time ago, but everyone would subconsciously ignore it. Maybe it's because it's in the city lord's residence, so everyone has less contact with it. Why is it a tree?" Sima Yue tapped her fingers, not understanding. "Old Bai, also about the crimson moon, do you know why? I think the crimson moon has something to do with suppressing the poison in my body." Bai Xing said. "What do you mean?" "Every time the crimson moon appears, the poison in my body will be very agitated, as if it had met with something terrifying. Bai Xing said, would faint every once in a while, but if the time I fainted coincides with the crimson moon, then I wouldn't have fainted that day." Crimson moon. Poison. Sima Yue wanted to connect the dots, but she couldn't think of anything. What a headache. "Old Bai, tell me what you've investigated," Sima Yue said. "Okay. Wait, little 7, go and see if Shi Chen and the rest are done. If they're done, call them in for a discussion," Sima Yue said. "Okay." Little 7 jumped down from the chair, opened the door and ran out, quickly bringing Shi Chen and Feng Kai in. "Boss, what's wrong?" Feng Kai asked. "There's something I need to tell you guys." Sima Yue voiced out her suspicions, then said, "Old Bai is about to talk about the information he's investigated these few years. Old Bai, let's start." Bai Xing nodded, and said, "I've investigated the blood arena. I want to know why the people on the arena would go crazy when they see blood. I once snuck into the blood arena for an entire day, just to see if there's anything fishy about it, but in the end, I found out something else." Bai Xing's face turned ugly, he didn't like what he found out. "What is it?" Little 7 asked. "That arena is alive," Bai Xing said. "Alive? What do you mean?" "You all noticed, no matter how much blood was spilled on the arena the night before, it's still clean the next day," Bai Xing said. "That's true. I always thought that the people from the blood arena cleaned it up the next day. But when I snuck into the blood arena, there wasn't a single person there. And guess what I saw?" Bai Xing was quite good at keeping people in suspense. "I can't guess." Everyone shook their heads. That blood arena seemed transparent, but in reality, it was very mysterious. No one could guess what he saw inside. "I saw that the arena was absorbing the blood and flesh." Bai Xing said, "That arena not only had the blood and flesh from the night before, it was the entire arena, filled with blood and flesh." "All blood and flesh?" Everyone was shocked. "That's right. And it was all human blood and flesh." Bai Xing said, "That arena was like a mouth that opened up, swallowing all the blood and flesh until nothing was left. When everything returned to normal, the arena had already returned to its usual clean state." "The arena ate blood and flesh? That's too horrifying." Feng Kai opened his mouth wide, and said in shock. "And it wasn't just once." Bai Xing said, "Not long after, I went again, and it was the same. The entire arena was filled with blood and flesh. The blood arena has a requirement, the people who go up to the arena must see blood." Sima Yue touched her chin. "Don't tell me that the arena was actually transformed by a spirit beast?" "Transformed by a spirit beast?" Everyone was shocked by her guess, it was too impossible. But Sima Yue felt that she seemed to have guessed something, that arena in the blood arena, maybe it wasn't as simple as a spirit beast transforming. Maybe, there was an even more horrifying inside. Chapter 950. Read 336. Feng Kai and the others all felt that her guess was too outrageous. However, he couldn't think of any other reason. Then why did the people on the stage go berserk? Little Seven asked. I think that the arena will release some kind of gas. When the gas is mixed with blood, it will make people go crazy. Sima Yue said. I think so too. Bai Xing said, actually, everyone understands, but many people like it this way, they feel that it's exciting, so no one cares. Sima Yue nodded. It was easy to guess. Those people were not fools. Naturally, they would have guessed it. But there will also be situations like that day where both sides suffer losses. If they still had a bit of rationality back then, they probably wouldn't have ended up in that state. Little Seven said. That's true. Boss, why do you think the city lord gave you this bag of tea leaves? Feng Kai asked. I think he's hinting at something, but I don't know much about this place, so I can't figure out what he's hinting at. Sima Yue shook her head. Blood demon tree, the smell of blood, flesh and blood, the crimson moon, could it be? Shi Chen was so frightened by his own thoughts that he couldn't even speak. What did Big Brother Shi Chen think of? Little Seven looked at him curiously. Shi Chen took a deep breath and voiced his guess. Could it be that all this was caused by the blood demon tree? Blood demon tree? That's right, the blood demon tree had absorbed the flesh and blood, which is why its tender shoots would have the smell of blood. And the one that absorbed the flesh and blood in the blood arena was it. The more Shi Chen spoke, the more he felt that his guess was correct. Then why did that city lord want you to notice the blood demon tree? Little Seven didn't understand. If the blood demon tree really wants to eat people, then by doing that, wouldn't he be exposing the blood demon tree? That didn't seem to make sense. Yue, when he met you, did the city lord say his name? Bai Xing asked. He said his name is Li Hong. Sima Yue said, speaking of which, when he told me his name, he seemed to have emphasized the word Hong a bit, as if to emphasize it. Li Hong, Li Hong. Bai Xing mulled over these two words and suddenly had a flash of inspiration as he said, I remember hearing people say that this city lord is called Li Ji. When did this happen? Many years ago, when I went out in the middle of the night to investigate the city lord's mansion, I saw a black-robed man outside. He was heavily injured. When he saw me, he only said two words, Li Ji, and then he died. Bai Xing said, at that time it was just two words, I didn't connect it with the city lord's name. Now that I think about it, he should have been talking about Li Ji. Sima Yue said, none of you noticed his name before? In Blood Fiend City, no one knows the city lord's name. Everyone only knew that his surname was Li, but no one asked what his name was. Even when they meet him, they only address him as City Lord Li, Shi Chen said. Moreover, this city lord is very mysterious. Very few people have seen him before. That's right. Feng Kai said, the past city lords were all very mysterious. Now that this one lives in seclusion, no one felt anything strange about it. Li Ji, Li Hong. Sima Yue said, I think that the news that person risked his life to bring out shouldn't be fake. But the person that I met should be real too. Then why would that person have two names? Little Seven was dumbfounded. I think, maybe, that city lord Li's body has two souls living in it. Sima Yue said. 2 souls? 2 souls, how is that possible? Feng Kai said in shock. It's not impossible. Bai Xing said in a low voice, I once heard that some people have 2 souls living in their bodies. Sometimes it's one person who comes out, sometimes it's another person. Is it a possession? It's not a possession. Sima Yue said, some people have 2 souls in one body when they're pregnant, it's another kind of twins. There's such a thing? Yes, but it's not common. Sima Yuyue said, there are also some people who have two personalities in one soul. This is more common. But these people usually don't have two names. Like City Lord Li, he should have two souls in one body. TSK, now that I think about it, it's really like that. Bai Xing said, I think, maybe there are two souls, one is better and one is worse. But the good can't win against the bad, so I can only give you this hint. But what's the use of the hint? Little Seven asked. And why did he hint about the blood demon tree? We'll know when we check. Sima Yuyue said. How do we check? We'll go tonight. As for how to check, you'll know when the time comes. That night, the group went to the blood arena again. Oh, young Master Siyu and Miss Little Seven are here. The manager went up to welcome them but didn't see Bai Xing, so he asked, Master Bai didn't come today? Old Bai isn't feeling well today, so he didn't come. Sima Yuyue said, bring us to the private room from last time. Alright, please follow me. The steward welcomed them in. When the people in the blood arena saw them, they started whispering to each other. When they reached the room, Little Seven chased the manager out and said to Sima Yuyue, 1,000 resonance, you didn't get recognized when you changed into Yu. I have a contract with Yu so I can change into her appearance and aura. 1,000 resonance said, if I change into someone else, I can only change my appearance but my aura can't fool others. I hope nothing will happen to boss and the rest. Feng Kai said worriedly. With the old Dragon King around, there won't be a problem. Little Seven said, tonight, we'll have to recruit people for Yu. Hee, I wonder how many people will be willing to come up and let me beat them up tonight. At the same time, 3 figures dashed out of Bai Xing's inn and headed towards the city lord's residence. Very quickly, they stopped outside the city lord's residence. Bai Xing looked at the moon above his head and said, there's 2 more days until the red moon. The moon is going to be full soon. Sima Yuyue raised her head and looked at the moon. I hope tonight's operation will be fruitful. Godfather, we'll have to trouble you tonight. It's just to cover your aura, it's not a problem. Wu Lamai said. Then let's sneak into the city lord's residence and take a look at the situation inside. Wu Lamai covered their aura and came to a more remote corner of the city lord's residence and flew in together. Once they entered, they saw a few patrolling guards coming over, so they quickly hid in the shadows and waited for those people to leave before coming out. Over there. The blood demon tree wasn't very tall, but it was still visible. Following the direction, they avoided the patrolling guards. Very quickly, they reached the courtyard where Yuyue came to drink tea in the day. Chapter 951. Read 336. The small courtyard was still the same as it was during the day. It was still the same tree, the stone table under the tree, and the stone stools beside it. The person sitting there was still the same person. But everything had changed. During the day, this place gave people a feeling of holiness, but now, it gave them a feeling of evil. Sima Yuyue looked at Li Hong. No, judging from his aura, he shouldn't be the person from the day. It should be the other soul in his body, Li Ji. Li Ji held an emerald green agate cup filled with bright red blood. Little tree, has the competition started again? Li Ji tasted a mouthful of blood and asked softly. Shush, the blood demon tree rustled. I wonder how many people we can drink tonight. Little tree, are you happy? Hua hua, I'm also very happy. In 2 days, the night of the crimson moon will come again. Hua hua, after this, you'll be able to transform, right? Hua hua, I know. I'll let you eat her. I'm looking forward to seeing what you look like after you evolve. Hua hua, hee hee. Sima Yuyue and Bai Xing looked at each other. This person was definitely not the person she saw in the morning. They went to the blood arena again? Hua hua, just let those people play for another 2 days. Anyway, they won't be able to walk out of this blood fiend city. Hua hua, the blood demon tree suddenly became manic as many leaves left the branches and shot towards Sima Yuyue and the rest. He had been discovered. Sima Yuyue pulled the two of them with each hand and disappeared from the spot. The leaves shot towards the wall and stabbed into it. With such strength, if it were to hit a human body, it would most likely be seriously injured. Someone's here? Li Ji put down the cup of blood in his hand. Hua Hua, even you didn't notice them, and they managed to escape from your inescapable trap. Looks like the person who came this time isn't weak, he said in a low voice. Hua Hua, it didn't matter. Really? Hua Hua, that's true. Even if they managed to escape your tight encirclement this time, they wouldn't be able to escape the city. Sima Yuyue and the rest appeared outside the city lord's residence. The moment they were discovered, she used her teleportation to bring them out. From the looks of it now, there is indeed a problem with the city lord's mansion. Sima Yuyue said, it should be the same for the blood arena. Otherwise, that tree wouldn't know so clearly. But how did it know? That tree. Wu Lamai frowned. I think I've seen it before. Godfather, you've seen him before? Sima Yuyue looked at Wu Lamai in surprise. I once went to a fairyland and saw a tree like this in there. However, that was a long time ago. I estimate it to be around 2,000 years ago. Wu Lamai recalled. Because I saw it in the immortal land, it left a deep impression on me. From the immortal land? Yes. At that time, I followed my royal father and the others in. I heard my royal father say that this is a demonic tree. Logically speaking, this kind of demonic tree shouldn't appear in the human realm. Wu Lamai said. Demonic tree? I don't think I recognized it wrongly. Wu Lamai said. Isn't the demonic tree something from the devil realm? Sima Yuyue asked. How can it grow so big in the human realm? I don't know. What I'm more curious about is how it left the immortal land. Wu Lamai said. Why? Although the immortal land is a place where humans, devils, and demons can go to, it has to go back to where it came from. This is the rule of the immortal land. How did it break this rule? Wu Lamai said. Could it be through a contract? Sima Yuyue asked. Through a contract, it followed people here. It shouldn't be restricted by the rules. Little Blossom followed people to the human realm like that. However, Little Blossom wasn't considered a restricted creature. It could live in any realm. Wu Lamai shook his head. The immortal land is different from the little realm. One can't form a contract in the immortal land. That's strange. Sima Yuyue said. This demonic tree must have used some method to come here. If it's the demonic tree, it's normal for it to consume human flesh and blood. Bai Xing said. Indeed. But this doesn't fit the demonic clan's character. Bai Xing said. Shouldn't they start a massacre when they come here? But why would they use a method like the blood arena? This is too slow. Heaven's punishment. Wu Lamai said. For something like the demonic tree, if it starts a massacre in the human realm and harms normal humans, it will be punished by heaven. Once it attracts the attention of the lightning tribulation, it will be struck into ashes. After all, the lightning tribulation is its biggest nemesis. Sima Yuyue thought of Mo Sha. When they killed their way into the human realm, were they struck by the cloud spirit too? Normal humans are at a disadvantage in this world. They will be protected against the invasion of other world creatures. The more powerful the creature, the more they are afraid of being noticed. Bai Xing said. Sima Yuyue pursed her lips. She felt that this wasn't right. The last time the people from the ghost realm killed so many people from the human realm. Why didn't heaven come out to protect the weak? We've been discovered. We can't go back. Do we go back now? Bai Xing asked. Or do you want to go to other places to continue investigating? I want to see what's below the demonic tree. Sima Yuyue said. Underground? Yes. Sima Yuyue said. There are earth elements protecting us underground. We won't be discovered so easily. That's fine too. Wu Lamai said. But the roots of the demonic tree are intertwined. We have to be careful when we go down. You have earth attribute spiritual energy? Bai Xing asked. Didn't Shi Chen and the rest say that she had fire attribute? Yes. Sima Yue said. Let's go. We'll go down and take a look. The three of them formed a protective circle. Sima Yue formed earth attribute spiritual energy and injected it into the ground. The ground immediately softened and formed a circle. After they jumped down, the surrounding ground automatically moved to the sides. Not long after they went underground, they saw many tree roots. This should be the roots of the blood demon tree. It's so lush. Sima Yue exclaimed. There are many that extend outside. Bai Xing pointed at the thicker roots. They extended from the middle to all directions. These should extend to different places in the city. Bai Xing guessed. Should be. Why don't we follow one of the roots and see how far it goes? Sima Yue said. Let's go towards the direction of the blood arena. Okay. They identified the direction of the blood arena. After walking for a while, they found a main route extending towards that direction. It should be the one they were looking for. Following the direction of the blood arena, there were more routes in the middle. But the main route continued to extend forward. It was just that it got thinner. According to the distance, the blood arena should be up there. Bai Xing said. Look. Sima Yue suddenly pointed to the front and shouted softly. Chapter 952. Bai Xing and Wu Lamai followed her gaze and saw many things hanging on the roots. Some were long, some were short, some were big, some were small. The ground at the side was also filled with such things. These are human bones. Bai Xing gasped, he didn't expect to see such a horrifying scene. It's indeed human bones, Sima Yue said. It should be the flesh and blood of the people who have been feeding the blood arena. There are so many human bones here, I wonder if other places are the same. Bai Xing frowned. Let's check out other places later. Sima Yue said, let's check out the situation here first. They walked around the bones and continued to walk forward. They found that the tree root went up after reaching here. Many thin roots split out at the front. The thin roots circled around the main root and interweaved into a fine net at the top. There was a layer of halo on the net, making the net look like a flat surface. Little 7, go. Beat them until their heads bleed. A shout came from above. Then, the sound of fighting could be heard from the flat surface. As they were near the blood arena, Sima Yue and the rest did not say anything. They looked at each other and went back down. It wasn't until they reached the depths of the earth that they took deep breaths, no longer as cautious as before. You guessed correctly. That stage indeed belongs to the blood demon tree. Bai Xing still couldn't believe what he had just seen. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he probably wouldn't have believed it. This blood demon tree's roots have extended all the way here and it is still able to create such an effect. This shows how powerful it is. Sima Yue said, did you guys smell a faint fragrance just now? Yes. I think this fragrance is the reason why those people went berserk. Bai Xing guessed. That should be the case, Sima Yue said, the ring created by the tree roots cannot be perfect and flawless. It should be this fragrance that caused people to hallucinate, causing them to not realize that the arena was an illusion even after so many years. Furthermore, when this fragrance was mixed with blood, it would stimulate one's nerves, causing one to go crazy and lose all rationality, only thinking about killing. Let's check out other places. They walked underground all night, and what they found surprised them. The roots of this blood demon tree almost cover the entire underground of the blood demon city. Bai Xing said in shock, I didn't expect that although this blood demon tree doesn't look tall, it has so many roots underground. Its power should have been channeled into its roots. If the tree trunk is too tall, it will attract a lot of attention. It's impossible for him to remain a nobody in the Castellan mansion for so many years. Sima Yue said. There's a weapon there. Wu Lamai reminded. Sima Yuyue and Bai Sheng looked over and saw a dim spiritual weapon buried in the soil. This is. Bai Sheng's reaction was a little big. When he saw the spirit weapon, he quickly walked over and took the spirit qi in his hand. He used the light emitted by the spirit qi to look at it carefully. Sima Yuyue and Wu Lamai walked over and asked, "You know about this?" "This is the weapon of someone I know." Bai Sheng said, "It disappeared during a crimson moon. I didn't expect his weapon to be here. There's a skeleton over there." Sima Yuyue pointed not far behind him and said. Bai Sheng turned around. That skeleton had no flesh and blood left, only a pile of white bones wrapped in tattered clothes. "This is his clothes." Bai Sheng said, "This skeleton is his. Looks like he didn't disappear during the crimson moon, but was killed by this blood demon tree." Sima Yuyue said. Bai Sheng looked at the twisted skeleton and said, "Looks like those people who disappeared during the crimson moon night were all killed by the blood demon tree. Crimson moon night, night of murder. It's going to be crimson moon night soon, then wouldn't it be night of murder again?" Wu Lamai said. "That's right, and what Li Ji said just now, this crimson moon night should have a bigger movement." Bai Sheng said. "He also said that he can't leave this place." Sima Yuyue added. "Previously when we didn't find out about this, those words didn't seem to be anything, but now that we think about it, it doesn't seem right." Bai Sheng said. "We're almost done here, let's go back now and discuss with Shi Chen and the rest." Sima Yuyue suggested. "All right." They followed the directions and went straight to the backyard of the inn. Shi Chen and the rest were talking to Mu Lian Xian, Wang Mao and the rest about what happened last night. Suddenly, the soil beside them turned into a puddle of muddy water. Following that, 3 light balls popped out from within. "Boss? Why did you guys come out from here?" Feng Kai asked curiously. This. Wang Mao and the rest looked at Sima Yuyue, then looked at Thousand Resonance. Seeing 2 people who looked exactly the same and had the same aura, they were stunned. "Thousand Resonance, it's been hard on you." Sima Yuyue nodded at Thousand Resonance. Thousand Resonance's body flashed with a silver light, transforming into his own appearance. "This is a fake." Hu Yang looked at Thousand Resonance. "How did he become exactly the same? Even his aura is the same." "He's my contracted beast." Sima Yuyue said, "That's why his aura is the same." "Yu, did you guys find anything?" Little Seven asked. "Yes. And it's very important." Sima Yuyue and Bai Sheng told them about what they found out last night, and everyone present was stunned. "You're saying that this bloody moon is a cover for the blood demon tree eating people every month?" Wang Mao was a man of few words, but his words hit the nail on the head. "Yes." Bai Sheng took out that skeleton and his weapon. "You guys should still remember him. It's old Bai." Hu Yang recognized it immediately. "This is his spiritual weapon. These clothes are what he was wearing the day before he went missing." "Big beard, are you sure?" Wang Mao pursed his lips and asked. "Why wouldn't I be sure? The day before he went missing, I was drinking with him." Hu Yang said, "At that time, he said he wanted to go back. I said I haven't drunk enough and wanted to continue drinking. He said it was the bloody moon tonight, so he wanted to go back earlier. In the end, I never saw him again. Every bloody moon, there would be people going missing." Wang Mao's expression was terrible, but for so many years, I thought it was because of the bloody moon, and thought it was some untouchable mysterious phenomenon. I didn't expect the truth to be like this. Oh no. It's the bloody moon tonight. Hu Yang suddenly shouted. "Is there going to be another massacre tonight?" Mu Lian Xian asked. "We don't know who it will be tonight." Hu Yang sighed. "I think, tonight won't pass so easily. It won't be as easy as before." Sima Yuyue said. "Why?" Wang Mao, "Go and ask those people outside to go to the city gate, see if they can leave the city." Sima Yuyue said to Wang Mao. Wang Mao nodded and went out. He came back quickly and said, let them go to a few different city gates, now we're just waiting for their results. Very quickly, those people came back with news. We can't get out. No matter how many top-grade crystals we put in, the city gate can't be opened. There's also a barrier set up on the city walls, we can't fly out at all. When the people in the courtyard heard this, their faces sunk. Chapter 953. Crazy Wife, Divine Dr. Fifth Missy, looks like this blood fiend city is indeed controlled by the blood demon tree. Little Seven said. That's not right. Hu Yang cried out, even if it was during the past Crimson Moon, there wouldn't be such a situation. Everyone could still leave the city. That's why it's different this time. Shi Chen said, from what Li Ji said, it will be able to transform tonight, and it won't be able to escape. I'm guessing that it will make a big move tonight, and it won't be as gentle as it was in the past. Should be, if not it wouldn't trap the entire city's people here. Wang Mao said. It's trapping everyone here, is it planning to wipe them all out? Little Seven guessed. That's not possible, right? Hu Yang didn't believe, there are so many people and everyone isn't completely helpless. If they were to join forces to resist, even if it's the demon tree, it wouldn't have any advantage. That's not impossible. Shi Chen said, in the past so many years, the Crimson Moon had appeared so many times. There were so many people in the city but no one noticed it, right? Moreover, the blood demon tree's roots are spread all over the city. It's obvious that its power isn't ordinary. Bai Xing said, to be able to kill so many people silently for so many years, this isn't something that can be done casually. Sima Yue frowned as though she thought of something but it flashed past her mind and she couldn't catch it. Yu, what are you thinking about? Little Seven saw her keeping silent and asked. I keep feeling that we're missing something. Sima Yue said, I think I'm about to catch that point but I can't remember what it is. Everyone looked at her, not knowing what she was talking about. Brother Shi Chen, will that demon tree start a massacre tonight? Little Seven saw that she couldn't remember and didn't pester her as she looked at Shi Chen and asked. I feel that the possibility is very high. Shi Chen said. Then are we still going to the blood arena? We haven't recruited many people yet. Little Seven said as she pursed her lips, I didn't expect that arena to be transformed by that demon tree. We were still fighting there previously, thinking about it is disgusting. But that smell is too magical, it could actually make us hallucinate. Fragrance. It was an illusion. Sima Yue's eyes lit up. I've finally figured out what we missed. Little Seven, you're the best. After saying that, she kissed Little Seven on the cheek. What did I say? Little Seven blinked her eyes. Apparently, she hadn't reacted yet. The others were also puzzled. Boss, what did you think of? Feng Kai asked. Fragrance, hallucination. Sima Yue said, didn't you think of anything else? Other things? Mu Lian Xian thought hard but didn't understand what she meant. You're saying that the Crimson Moon is also an illusion? Shi Chen said. It can make everyone in the city have the same illusion? Hu Yang's eyes widened in surprise. Maybe, maybe not, Sima Yue said, I can't be sure before I have more contact with it. But we can have a guess. What? That smell came from its roots. Now that we know that its roots spread to the underground of the entire city, it means that it can also release the same smell in other places, or release other poisonous gases. If it wants to control so many people, this method is more effective. Shi Chen said. So, I want to check your bodies. Sima Yue said. Yu, are you suspecting that they are poisoned? Little Seven asked. Sima Yue nodded. But didn't you check Old Bai already? If they were poisoned, didn't you see it before? Feng Kai asked. Old Bai has poison in his body, so I couldn't find anything else. Sima Yue said, now I want to check your bodies. Okay. Sima Yue checked Hu Yang, Wang Mao, and Mu Lian Xian one by one. What's the result? Chen saw that Sima Yuyue didn't speak and asked. They have the same smell. Sima Yuyue said, you can say that they have the same poison in their bodies. Poison? Because that smell made them unable to cultivate. Sima Yuyue said, then glanced at Wang Mao and the rest, and this smell will stimulate your nerves, causing you to hallucinate, or something more serious will happen. Yu, are you able to research an antidote? At most, I can only suppress it temporarily. Sima Yuyue said, I don't know much about the things in the devil realm. It'll be easier to find senior brother for this. It's already afternoon, tonight is the night of the crimson moon. If the poison in their bodies acts up tonight, I'm afraid something big will happen. Bai Xing said. Don't talk about them, you should have it in your body too. Sima Yuyue said, maybe it's that smell that helped you suppress the poison in your body. Bai Xing shrugged, alright, let's go. I'm going to research an antidote, then go to the city lord's residence to see what's going on with the Crimson Moon Night. Sima Yuyue said and returned to her own house. I'll go help. Little Seven followed her and left. Go and call those people over. I think something big will definitely happen tonight, and she will definitely need help. Bai Xing said. I'll go. Hu Yang said, Lian Xian, you come with me. Okay. Hu Yang and Mu Lian Xian left together, preparing to contact those people who followed Sima Yuyue. Sima Yuyue came to the room, set up a barrier, and entered the spirit pagoda with Little Seven. Li Hong's hint and Li Ji's words last night made her feel that something would happen tonight. She had to research an antidote to suppress the blood demon tree's poison before the sky turned dark. In the evening, she and Little Seven came out from the house. The entire Bai Xing's inn was filled with people. Sima Yuyue went down and distributed the antidote to everyone. They should have told you about the situation. This is the antidote to suppress the poison. Those people ate the antidote and asked, this antidote only suppresses the poison in our bodies. Is it useful for tonight? At least it won't let you be controlled by the poison. Sima Yuyue said. If they were controlled, what would they do? Lose themselves, and listen to the blood demon tree completely. Sima Yuyue said, seeing everyone's eyes wide open, she continued, of course, this is just my guess. But, it could be real. If it's real, then tonight. Everyone didn't dare to imagine. They would rather believe that the Crimson Moon Night was a natural phenomenon that couldn't be explained, than to believe that it was just a cover for the murder. But in front of the evidence, they had no choice but to believe. The sky is turning dark, you guys wait here, we'll go to the city lord's residence to take a look. Sima Yuyue said to Little Seven and the rest. Chongqing Book Factory. Chapter 954. For safety reasons, Wang Mao and a few others followed Sima Yuyue and the others. The others stayed in the inn to wait for further news. From the evening onwards, the wind had been blowing in Blood Fiend City. When Sima Yuyue and the rest arrived at the city lord residence, the wind was so strong that they couldn't open their eyes. Everyone, the city lord has been waiting for a long time. The steward of the city lord's manor stood at the entrance with a group of people, watching the last ray of the setting sun fall into the sea of clouds as he said with a smile. The city lord is waiting for us? Yes. The butler said, the city lord said that you would definitely come today, so he asked me to wait here. He said that he would treat you to a cup of tea when you arrived. It seemed that the city lord also knew something. Are we going in? Hu Yang asked. Yes, the city lord is already waiting for us to drink tea, how can we not go? Sima Yuyue said, I think the city lord will have something to say to us when we drink tea. Please. The butler gestured for them to enter. Sima Yuyue led them in. One of the men behind him stayed behind and said to the guards, you don't have to guard the door today. Go and do your work. The housekeeper brought them to the courtyard where they drank tea last time. This was Yuyue's third time here, but every time she came, it gave her a different feeling. Young master, see you, we meet again. Li Ji, who was dressed in black, sat under a tree and gestured towards Sima Yuyue. There were a few cups of tea on the table, which was exactly the number of people present. In front of him was a glowing goblet filled with bright red blood. Sima Yue walked over and sat down. She picked up the teacup in front of her but did not drink it. She looked at the tea leaves and smiled. We haven't met yet, right? City Lord Li Ji. Hee, didn't we just meet last night? Li Ji's bright eyes looked at her, and the words he said shocked her. Did you see him last night? She asked calmly. Hee, weren't you almost injured by the leaves of my little tree last night? Li Ji smiled evilly and said, you don't have to be surprised. Any movement in Blood Fiend City would not escape Little Tree's detection. You didn't stop it. Sima Yue said. Why should I stop it? Li Ji smiled. To stop Li Hong from giving you hints on his own, or to stop you from discovering those things underground? As expected, you know everything. Little Seven glared at him. Yes, I know. Li Ji turned his gaze to Little Seven. Although I don't know what you are, Little Uncle said that if he ate you, he would be able to evolve completely. He wouldn't have to worry about being punished by the heavenly Tao, and he wouldn't have to carefully eat and drink human blood every day. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid we would have to wait here for many years. Are you sure that even if we find out something, we won't be a hindrance to your plan? Sima Yue pulled Little Seven and asked. Isn't that so? Li Ji smiled and said, I know that the few of you are very powerful, but this is of no use in Blood Fiend City. This is Little Tree's world, my world. No matter how high your martial arts are, you won't be able to escape from Little Tree's inescapable net. Moreover, don't you think that it's more fun to look at some clowns who think that they have found the truth? Only Li Hong, that blind man, would be so foolish to think that someone would be able to stop me. Clowns? Sima Yue wasn't angry. Then are you willing to clear the doubts of these clowns before things happen? Some people just like to know the so-called truth before they die. Isn't this called dying in peace? Li Ji shook the goblet in his hand. While Little Tree hasn't gone crazy yet, ask. You have two souls in one body? Sima Yue asked. Yes. I have a useless brother who wants to pretend to be a good person. Li Ji said. He's blind, you're not. This is very strange. What's so strange about this? Li Ji said. He can't see, not because there's a problem with his body, but because his soul energy is too weak. And I am incomparably powerful. Incomparably powerful? Sima Yue's lips curled into a mocking smile. You're powerful because of this magic tree, right? Little Tree's ability is more powerful than you think. Li Ji said. I am it, and it is me. Because of the poisonous gas it releases, the people in the city can't cultivate, right? Sima Yue said. You're indeed smarter than those people. It's been 1,000 years, and no one has ever thought of this. Or rather, those who thought of this are already dead. Li Ji said. But there's no one like you who can discover this problem in just 2 days. Not only that, you're also using these people's flesh and blood to nourish this magic tree. Sima Yue said. The night of the crimson moon is the night of the magic tree's killing. That's right. Li Ji didn't deny and answered casually. What right do you have to do this? Hu Yang angrily rebuked. Qualifications? Li Ji laughed as if he had heard a funny joke. Are you talking to me about right? That's right. Then I'll tell you what right do I have. The wind around Li Ji gradually grew stronger and rolled up many leaves, causing pain on people's bodies. He used the wind to fly up, and when he was in the air, he looked down at everyone and laughed loudly. Just based on the fact that we've provided you with a safe place to live. Without Blood Fiend City, you bunch of people would still be hiding here and there and would never be a day of peace. If you want to live a stable life, then use your flesh and blood to exchange for it. Ha ha ha. Your original intention is to provide people with a stable life? Sima Yue also stood up, and with a wave of her hand, the goblet that was filled with human blood flew out. The blood spilled out in the air and finally dripped onto the ground. She looked at Li Ji, who was flying in mid-air, and said, "Your original intention isn't to provide everyone with a safe place. You're only rearing them and letting them become the magic tree's nourishment, to provide it with a large amount of blood. As for you, the reason why you've chosen this kind of method is only because you don't dare to create too big of a commotion, afraid that you'll attract the punishment of heaven. What I've said isn't wrong. Hee, even if what you've said is true, so what?" Li Ji's long hair fluttered with the wind. "No matter what my motive is, they've finally found the life they want here, haven't they? I've provided them with a peaceful life and they've provided me with flesh and blood. This is a very fair trade." "No. This isn't fair." Sima Yuyue also flew up and came to the same height as Li Ji. "They don't know and can't cultivate. Unknowingly, they've even become the magic tree's food. You must have never been pursued by anyone before, so you wouldn't understand what kind of desire a stable life is to these people." Li Ji said, "Speaking of this, they can still continue to live such a peaceful life. But you are the one who broke their lives and pushed them towards death." Chapter 955. Read 336. Seeing everyone's puzzled eyes, he continued, "Originally, we didn't plan to start tonight's plan. Or rather, this night will be delayed for many years, perhaps hundreds of years, perhaps thousands of years. And your appearance caused all of this to happen ahead of time." "What do you mean?" Little Seven came to Sima Yuyue and asked. "It's very simple. Originally, the sapling still needs a lot of energy to evolve. We can only absorb the blood of those people bit by bit and slowly accumulate energy. Therefore, this kind of life would continue for at least a few hundred years. But your appearance caused everything to be brought forward." Li Ji looked at Seven and smiled evilly. "You want to eat me to gain power?" Little Seven crossed her arms in front of her chest. "You think you can eat me? Although I don't know what you are, Little Tree can feel that you have a huge amount of energy. If I eat you, I can evolve." Li Ji said, "Of course, just eating you is not enough. We still need a lot of blood. That's why you sealed off the entire city so that no one could escape." Sima Yuyue said. "Smart," Li Ji said. "Are you not afraid of the punishment of the heavenly Tao now?" "Yes, but it's useless to us now." Li Ji said, "The little tree has a concealment enchantment. By the time the heavenly axiom's punishment discovers this situation, it's already too late. The little tree has completed its evolution, so we don't have to worry about that thing anymore. You're dreaming, but I'm afraid your concealment barrier won't last until then." Sima Yuyue said. "Perhaps, the cloud spirit wouldn't be able to wait until then. Alright, time's up. The crimson moon is about to begin again." Everyone looked up at his words. The full moon in the sky was slowly turning red. At first, it was only a faint red, but later on, it turned blood red. "The red moon really exists and isn't an illusion?" Seven exclaimed in shock. "It's not an illusion." The others also flew up and came to their side. "Hallucination? No, this is not an illusion." Li Ji's figure flashed and he had already arrived at the crown of the blood demon tree. Sima Yuyue raised her head to take a closer look. Coupled with the smell, she said, "It's not an illusion." "What's that?" "It should be the gas released by the blood demon tree." Sima Yuyue said, "Or it could be the enchantment that it created." "Smart." Li Ji looked at Sima Yuyue with admiration. "This is Little Tree's blood enchantment. Before the night of the full moon, the sapling's power would reach its peak, and only then would it be able to set up this enchantment. With the enchantment, the sapling will be able to deceive everyone and devour them. This crimson moon is indeed not a natural phenomenon." Hu Yang shouted. "Ha ha ha." Li Ji laughed. "After so many years, only you would believe that this is a natural phenomenon." Those who didn't believe it and wanted to investigate were all eaten by the little tree. "Humph," pretending to be mysterious. "Your good days will end today." Little Seven snorted. Hee hee. Li Ji looked at little 7. Little tree, you have endured for a long time. Now that the crimson moon is complete, let's begin. Hua hua, the blood demon tree shook crazily. The originally sparse branches and leaves quickly sprouted and sprouted many new branches. The original dandelion shape turned into the shape of a willow tree. After suppressing it for so many years, I can finally let go of my hands and feet today. The blood demon tree's branches danced wildly as it laughed. It whipped the branches towards little 7 and laughed weirdly. What a fragrant smell. Hee hee, I can feel a majestic power. Hee hee, as long as I eat you, I will not be afraid of anything. Hee 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 hee. Tisk, just you and you want to eat me? Wait till I chop you into wood to make firewood for you. Little 7 said. Ha ha ha. Just the few of you and you dare to be so arrogant. The blood demon tree laughed maniacally. We are not the few of you. Hu Yang shouted. Are you talking about those people that you gave the antidote to? Hee hee, you better look behind you. The blood demon tree waved its branches wildly and laughed evilly. Everyone looked behind them. The streets outside the city lord's residence were filled with people. Those people's eyes were lifeless and they were walking towards them unconsciously. This feels like the zombie movie that you mentioned before. Those people are too scary. Little 7 felt goosebumps all over her body. Bam, bam, countless tree roots flew up from the ground. The roots that should have been clumsy were now extremely agile as it coiled around those people and danced in the air. Those people were screaming miserably. Quite a number of them were split into two by the roots and some were still resisting. Those are our people. Hu Yang cried out. Bam, bam, in other directions, the tree roots were also drawn out from the ground. Numerous houses were destroyed and numerous people were coiled up. Different from those people in Baixing'an, even if these people were coiled up into the air, they did not have any reaction at all. Those people walked to the side of the city lord's residence and stopped. Looking at the few people in the air, their eyes flashed with a blood-red glow. It's sucking the blood of those people. Feng Kai looked at those people who were coiled up and cried out. Look at the city walls. When everyone heard Shi Chen's words, they looked over and saw the city walls far away shining. When the light dispersed, the original city walls had actually turned into the tree roots of the blood demon tree. Oh my god, this city wall is also transformed by the blood demon tree. Little 7 was speechless. Sima Yue finally understood why she saw those weird things when she entered the city. So those weren't real city walls, so naturally it lacked a natural feeling. These people are completely controlled by the blood demon tree. In the entire city, I reckon there are hundreds of thousands of people. It's obviously impossible for us to deal with them one by one. Wang Mao said. Although these people's abilities aren't as strong as us, but we can't withstand their numbers. Mu Lian Xian said. These people are all controlled by the blood demon tree. Once we get rid of the blood demon tree, these people will naturally be fine. Bai Xing said. But it has so many roots. If we don't destroy all of them, it's still useless. You guys try your best to stop these people. Leave this blood demon tree to me. Sima Yue said as she took out a small door to open her little realm. She also called out the four-winged roc and the Egret clan elders from the spirit pagoda. She even called out all her contracted beasts. When Hu Yang and the rest saw so many people suddenly appearing, they were stunned. Damn! Who are these people? Hu Yang shouted. My bodyguards and Little Rock's bodyguards. Sima Yue said, don't fight them head on. Just buy me some time will do. Everyone nodded their heads and flew towards those people. Let's go too. Hu Yang rubbed his hands and took out his axe and attacked those people. I'll go deal with that one body with two souls. Wu Lamai said. I'll go beat up that fellow who wants to eat me. Little 7 rolled up her sleeves and flew over with Wu Lamai, leaving Sima Yue alone at the original spot. Alright, then I'll start too. Sima Yuyue clenched her fists and looked at those flying tree roots with a radiant smile. Chapter 956. Li Ji, who was fighting with Wu Lamai, suddenly had a bad premonition when he saw her smile. What was she trying to do by stalling for time? Call for reinforcements? Humph, with the small tree's boundary, the people inside can't get out, and the people outside can't get in. Did she really think that she could get reinforcements? Thinking of this, he felt relieved and went to fight with Wu Lamai. Although he looked young, he was actually an old man. Wu Lamai was the king of a clan. Although he could suppress him, he couldn't completely subdue him. Every time they were about to capture him, he would dodge with the help of the blood demon tree. Little Seven was also more relaxed. Although the blood demon tree had a lot of branches, her speed was fast and the branches that were attacking her were all broken by her. Whoosh, branches attacked her from all directions. No matter which direction she fled in, she would be caught. Do you really think you've caught a turtle in a jar? Little Seven shouted and flew towards those branches. The branches closed up, and Little Seven was trapped and nowhere to be seen. Little Seven. Chen and the rest saw that Little Seven was trapped and wanted to go over to help, but they were surrounded by a large group of people and were unable to break free. Little Seven. Wu Lamai knew that Yuyue cared a lot about Little Seven. When he saw that she was in trouble, he pushed Li Ji away and wanted to save her. Bah, how did I compare myself to a turtle? Little Seven's angry voice came out from the net made of tree branches. Then, a small figure came out from the net. She was holding a tree branch in her hand. With a forceful tug, she pulled out a lump and tied the entire branch into a knot. Didn't you want to catch me? Humph, I'll make it so you can't move. Little Seven ruthlessly punched, and the lump of wood exploded. PFFF, although the situation was very dangerous, everyone couldn't help but laugh when they saw the situation. Boss, there are too many of them. We can't hold on any longer. Hu Yang shouted at Sima Yuyue. Since Hu Yang was defeated by Sima Yuyue himself, he had been calling her boss. Almost done. Sima Yuyue said. She looked up at the crimson moon in the sky. Because of the enchantment, the connection between this place and the outside world was very weak. She tried to trigger the heavenly tribulation, but found that it was useless. Little Roar. She called Little Roar over, fused with him, and flew into the sky. Li Ji noticed that Sima Yuyue was flying upwards, but he did not expect her to actually fly out. However, when he sensed that it was Sima Yuyue who had flown out, he was shocked. It was because of this that Wu Lamai's palm hit his chest and sent him flying. Whoosh, a branch flew out, wrapped around him, and pulled him back. How did she pass through the barrier? The people below were shocked. What is she doing up there? Why is she still standing there? Doesn't she know how to run? Sima Yuyue looked at the tree on the ground and said, Aren't you absorbing the flesh and blood of those people? Didn't he say that he wasn't afraid of the heavenly tribulation? Let's give it a try today. After saying that, she mobilized the extreme purple lightning in her body. Cloud Spirit had just finished killing a transformed beast and was about to have a good rest. It wanted to drink some wine, but realized that it had finished all of it. Just as it was thinking of finding Sima Yuyue to get some wine, it felt that she was calling out to it. Hey, is this telepathy? She giggled and went over. When she saw the situation in Blood Fiend City, she was stunned. What kind of situation was this? Why were there things from the devil realm here? Little fellow, I helped you this time. Sima Yuyue said to Cloud Spirit. Cloud Spirit knew that it did not discover the situation here. If the higher-ups knew about it, it would definitely be punished. Yuyue had indeed helped it a lot this time. I owe you a favor. Cloud Spirit did not hesitate and started to accumulate the energy in its body. The tribulation clouds grew thicker and thicker, covering the entire sky. How did the lightning tribulation discover this place? The moment it saw the lightning tribulation, Blood Demon Tree screamed and did not have the mood to control those people. It retracted all its energy and prepared to fight against the heavens' tribulation. Those people in the city regained their consciousness in an instant. Many of them were puzzled when they saw themselves outside. Why were they here? Those who were more powerful and had stronger mental strength, although they were controlled, could still remember what happened. Everyone, leave the central region quickly, don't get affected by the lightning tribulation. Bai Xing shouted and flew far away. Old Bai, what's going on? Someone recognized him and grabbed his hand to ask. I'll tell you later. Leave this place quickly now. Bai Xing said. Previously Sima Yuyue told him that when the lightning tribulation came, he should bring the people and run outside to not get affected by the lightning tribulation. At that time, he thought that Blood Demon Tree would attract the heavens tribulation. He did not expect her to be the one who summoned it. From the way he talked to Cloud Spirit, his relationship with Cloud Spirit should be pretty good. But from ancient times till now, he had never heard of anyone who had a good relationship with the lightning tribulation. The rest of the people in the city did not know what happened. But when they saw them running outside and the rolling lightning tribulation in the sky, everyone ran crazily. Little Seven saw the lightning tribulation and recalled the scene of being struck. It screamed in horror and flew towards Sima Yuyue. Don't be afraid. Do you want to hide inside? Sima Yuyue hugged Little Seven and asked. Little Seven thought for a while and nodded. In this area, no matter where they ran to, they would be struck. It was safer to go back. Sima Yuyue kept Little Seven into the spirit pagoda. Then, she raised her head and said to the Cloud Spirit, those people are innocent. You have to be careful. Don't kill them all. They will be my people in the future. This was not a lightning tribulation, so there would not be any punishment. If it struck those people, it would be an accident. But it would not tell her that. I can go easy on you, but remember to owe me a favor. Cloud Spirit said while hiding in the clouds. She did not say to cancel the favor that Sima Yuyue asked her to come over because she knew that it was a lie. What Sima Yuyue said to her was real. Sima Yuyue flew down and came to Wu Lamai's side. She opened her little realm and kept him. Those people were busy running for their lives, so no one noticed. Then she kept the rest of them into Spirit Pagoda. You can trigger the lightning tribulation. Li Ji clutched his chest and looked at Sima Yuyue. Yes. Sima Yuyue smiled and said, I said, the lightning tribulation will come. How can you trigger the lightning tribulation? Bai Xing saw the lightning tribulation getting thicker and became crazy. It is the truth. There is no such thing as how it is possible. Sima Yuyue said, when you thought of creating a sea of blood tonight, you should have thought of what to do when the lightning tribulation comes. Good luck. After saying that, she leaped and flew to sit on top of the lightning tribulation cloud. Chapter 957. F***CK. Boss is so domineering. Hu Yang shouted excitedly when he saw Sima Yuyue sitting on the calamity cloud. A single person can actually sit on top of the tribulation cloud. Someone shouted. Those who did not notice looked over and saw Sima Yuyue sitting on the tribulation cloud. Holy sh**t, there really is someone. Who is that? How can you sit on it? That must be Siyu, right? The person who was very popular in the blood arena recently? I heard someone call her boss just now. That person who is recruiting. What a handsome man. If only she was willing to accept me. I want to follow her too. I love it. Don't be infatuated. Didn't you hear what she said? She wants to take in the king of the 10th floor and above. Ah. Can't you make an exception? I really want to follow her. Let's not think about this for now. Let's think about the situation of swallowing. Blood Fiend City is actually transformed from a demonic tree. What are we going to do in the future? Many people fell silent. Yes, what should he do in the future? Let's talk about the future later. Let's talk about how we're going to survive tonight's lightning tribulation. That's right. Such a huge lightning tribulation, it could split this entire place apart. But with that barrier, we can't get out. The people outside can't come in either. But others will see the situation here. If they know about what happened here, then we can't stay here anymore. What should we do in the future? I told you not to think about the future. Think about how to get through tonight. That's true. Sima Yu frowned when she heard what the people below were saying. What they said was reasonable. If these people did not have the protection of Blood Fiend City, then their future life would return to the past where they were chased by their enemies everywhere. Although Li Ji's original intention was to provide nourishment for the demonic tree, objectively speaking, he did provide these people with a more stable life. Even though they couldn't cultivate or lost their lives because of it. But after tonight, what should these people do in the future? If it wasn't for Little Seven, the blood demon tree would have continued with this kind of life for a few hundred years. This day wouldn't have come so quickly and they wouldn't have returned to their old days so quickly. Speaking of which, it was indeed a little like them. Little tree, what should we do? Li Ji looked at the thunder tribulation in the sky with fear in his eyes. However, the demonic tree who had always been by his side did not give him a definite answer this time. Sapling? The heavenly tribulation has locked onto us. No matter where we escape to, it will be the same. The blood demon tree said, the only thing we can do now is to accumulate all our strength to fight against the heavenly tribulation. If he succeeded, he wouldn't need this power to successfully convert it. If he couldn't succeed, then all his years of hard work would have been in vain. Sima Yue looked at the cloud spirit who was drinking in the clouds and said, you still don't plan to attack? The cloud spirit raised its head from the wine jar and said, no rush, no rush. I just felt their sins. It's still early. Let me finish this jar first. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows and said, how do you guys determine the size of the lightning tribulation? It's simple. By sensing its sins, he would be able to determine how big or small it was. We are only in charge of releasing the accumulated strength. The cloud spirit was drinking and didn't mind Sima Yue probing. Then who is in charge of determining the sins and the size of the lightning tribulation? Sima Yue asked again. Heavenly Tao. The cloud spirit smacked its lips and said, Heavenly Tao contains all living things. Nothing can escape its eyes. As long as it wants to know, nothing can be hidden from it. Then what's going on? Sima Yue pointed at the person and the tree below. Who doesn't take a nap sometimes? Little Seven said, as long as it wants to know, it will know. But it's not a rubbish collection container. It will look at everything. Rubbish collection container, this name was good. This fellow, you better put in some effort and get rid of it completely. Sima Yue said. Don't worry, this fellow's sins are not only for tonight. All the sins from before will be dealt with together. It won't be able to escape tonight. The cloud spirit said with certainty. Sima Yue nodded. With its words, she was relieved. After the cloud spirit finished drinking, it ran to Sima Yue's side and looked at the tree and the person below, saying, it's starting. As its words fell, countless bolts of lightning struck towards the blood demon tree. Because the entire city was filled with its roots, the bolts of lightning struck from all directions. Thousands of lightning struck together, one after another. As far as the eye could see, the entire city was undergoing a lightning show. It was a spectacular scene. The people in the city all condensed their spiritual energy to protect themselves when they saw the lightning strike. Some of the more timid ones even let out sharp screams when they saw the lightning. But the cloud spirit had already struck once and they didn't even realize that they were struck. We're all right. Why didn't the lightning strike us together? I remember now. Just now, you seemed to have said on the cloud layer that the lightning tribulation shouldn't strike us. She saved us. Looks like we owe her a favor. I think that is indeed the case. Seeing that the lightning wasn't striking them, everyone was relieved to watch this beautiful scene. This might be the only chance in their lives. And from tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of kilometers away, everyone saw this magnificent spectacle. Many people were curious about what was happening here, but because they could feel the destructive power of the heaven tribulation, no one dared to go near. That's the direction of the Blood Demon City. Go and check what's going on over there. Quickly go and check what's going on over there. Why would it attract such a powerful lightning tribulation? Quickly go and check what's going on. Numerous people came to a safe distance away, and when they saw the black mass, no one dared to go near. Ever since the last time in the dark forest, hundreds of monarch-ranked experts were all struck to death by a student scheme. Everyone had an additional layer of fear towards the lightning tribulation. Now that they saw the lightning tribulation, everyone wanted to leave quickly so that they wouldn't be struck along with them. But to some powerful experts, even if they didn't go near the Blood Demon City, they would know what was going on over there. The cloud spirit struck for an entire day and night, and when it was sure that there wasn't any sign of life from the Blood Demon tree in the entire Blood Demon City, the dark clouds in the sky finally passed. I'm leaving. In order to return the favor of not striking them to death, give me more wine. The cloud spirit looked at Sima Yuyue with sparkling eyes. Sima Yuyue took out a pile of wine jars and placed them on the cloud layer. It's not like you don't know how to find me. Next time you don't have any, you can come and find me. But you can't strike me. Chapter 958. Sima Yuyue wasn't worried about the remaining roots of the Blood Demon tree. If the cloud spirit said that it was gone, then it was really gone. Cloud spirit left with a pile of wine jars. The tribulation clouds dispersed and the moonlight shone down, illuminating the messy Blood Fiend city. The tribulation clouds have left. It's over. Someone said in a daze. After so long, it's finally over. Yes, it's finally over. What should we do in the future? Let's count the dead first. We'll talk about it later. Look, see you. Everyone looked towards the sky and saw Sima Yuyue descending from the sky. Seeing that she was safe and sound, everyone felt a sense of reverence. To be able to sit on the tribulation cloud for so long and still be safe and sound, who would dare to make an enemy of such a person? Most people would be dead the moment they came into contact with it. Sima Yuyue came to everyone's side and said, "The demon tree and Li Ji have been destroyed. Such a terrifying lightning tribulation, how is it possible to pass it?" Feng Kai said. This lightning tribulation was even greater than the one in the dark forest. Back then, so many monarch-level experts couldn't escape it. How could the demonic tree survive this time? I didn't expect to encounter such a thing here. Shi Chen sighed. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Sima Yuyue said, I didn't expect that our arrival would speed up the process here. Boss, what is Little Seven's identity? It actually caused such a big commotion. Hu Yang asked. Little Seven's identity is rather complicated. It's best that you guys don't know about it for now. I'll tell you guys when I have the chance in the future. Sima Yuyue said. Hu Yang and the others shifted their gazes to Shi Chen and Shi Chen. They shook their heads, indicating that they didn't know either. This lightning tribulation is really strong. Bai Xing said, what do we do next? Sima Yuyue looked at the devastation and rubbed her forehead with a headache, saying, how many of our people are left? Less than 100 people. Shi Chen said. The Blood Demon tree has killed so many people in such a short period of time. If it wasn't for the lightning tribulation, I'm afraid that even a powerhouse might not be able to fight against it. Sima Yuyue said, do you know how many people there are in the entire city? There were a few 100,000 before. Even if half of them died, there would still be 300,000 to 400,000. Feng Kai knew what Sima Yuyue was thinking and said, there are so many of them. It's impossible to take them all in. Sima Yuyue nodded. It was impossible to accept hundreds of thousands of people. If she brought 20,000 to 30,000 people back this time, the people of Heartbreak Valley would probably be scared silly. Not to mention the hundreds of thousands of Heartbreak Valley detoxification elixirs, it was terrifying to think about. But the reason why these people lost the protection of Blood Fiend City was indeed because of them, because of Little Seven. They couldn't just leave like that. Young Master, see you. A group of people rushed over and looked at Sima Yuyue excitedly. Sima Yuyue looked at them. The admiration on their faces was terrifying. What can I do for you? She asked with a smile. Young Master, see you, we heard that you're recruiting. We would like to follow you. Someone said. Follow me? Yes, can we? This. Sima Yuyue looked at such a big group of people and hesitated. I'm sorry, we still have to discuss. You'd better come to a conclusion quickly. If you're not willing, we still have to escape before our enemies arrive. A tall and skinny man said. Sima Yuyue looked at him and nodded. She brought them back to Bai Xing's inn. Bai Xing's inn was already destroyed beyond recognition. The previous houses and courtyards were almost all destroyed. Only one building still had half a house left. Old Bai, your courtyard finally died of old age. Feng Kai teased when he saw the scene. When the blood demon tree's roots were pulled out from the ground, it destroyed half of the houses in the city. There are basically no intact houses left. Wang Mao said. Anyway, we have to leave this place. Bai Xing shrugged nonchalantly. Luckily, there's still half a courtyard for us to sit in. Looking at the entire courtyard, there were dilapidated walls everywhere. It was not bad to have a flat courtyard. Everyone took out a chair and sat down. Now, let's talk about your thoughts. Sima Yuyue said. Without the protection of Blood Fiend City, the stable lives of these people in the city are definitely gone. Mu Lian Xian said, although I don't interact much with others, but based on my friends, everyone still wants to live a stable life. That's right. Wang Mao nodded, although it's not nice to say this, but everyone's lives were indeed disrupted because of you. You have to take responsibility for this. Little Seven just came out from the Spirit Pagoda. Hearing that, she pouted unhappily. Anyway, you're recruiting people. Recruiting one is recruiting. Recruiting 10,000 is also recruiting. Those who are willing to follow you, just take them in. Hu Yang said. Sima Yuyue shook her head and said, the current situation doesn't allow it. This isn't a question of whether we're willing or not. What situation? We don't have that many antidotes. Sima Yuyue said, so even if we want to, they won't be able to reach that place. Antidote? What antidote? Mu Lian Xian and the rest looked over. Originally, we wanted to wait for everyone to be recruited first, so we didn't tell you the specific situation. Shurchen explained, we've built a force and are recruiting people now. The sect is built in a more secretive place. That place isn't a place anyone can go. Built a sect? Hu Yang's eyes widened. That means we've joined a sect. Wang Mao said. Where's that place that can't be casually entered? Mu Lian Xian asked. Heartbreak Valley. Sima Yuyue said. This time, even Wang Mao and Mu Lian Xian were shocked. Heartbreak Valley? One of the 3 poisonous lands? Are you kidding us? How can people live in that place? Hu Yang shouted. But that's the truth. We were there before we came here. Feng Kai said. How did you do it? Wang Mao asked. Boss researched the antidote. Shurchen said, after eating the antidote, you can walk freely in Heartbreak Valley. The antidote you were talking about before is this? Mu Lian Xian looked at Sima Yuyue. That's right. Sima Yuyue said, our original plan was to recruit 1,000 people. If there are too many people, there's nothing we can do without the antidote. It's actually Heartbreak Valley. No wonder you said that even if we go out with you, we don't have to be afraid of being chased by our enemies. Who dares to enter Heartbreak Valley? That's true. Bai Xing said, that place is a natural barrier. But without so much antidote, we can't recruit all those people. Wang Mao said. Maybe those people don't want to follow us. Little Seven said. That's not necessarily true. Hu Yang said, didn't you see the way those people look at her? They all worship her. If it really doesn't work, I have an idea. Bai Xing said. Chapter 959. What thoughts? This time around, the commotion in Blood Fiend City is so huge, it must have attracted the attention of those outside. Bai Xing said, the others also understand that before they are clear of what happened here, those people might not make a move, but after these 2 days, those enemies will definitely chase after us. So, I think there will be an alliance soon. But this kind of alliance is very difficult. Shi Chen said, those who need to seek refuge in Blood Fiend City, their enemies would not be ordinary people. Although combining them would increase his strength, at the same time, it would also increase the danger. Many people understand this, so there are very few people who go out together after so many years. Unless everyone in this city is tied together, Feng Kai said. It might have been difficult in the past, but not now. Bai Xing said, in the past, it was hard for everyone to form an alliance because there was Blood Fiend City as an escape route. Now that there's no escape route, everyone naturally has to think of a way. But what use is that to us? Little Seven asked. I think, not everyone will follow us, those who are unwilling can form an alliance and leave, then we will arrange for the remaining people. Bai Xing said. What if there are a lot of people left? Feng Kai asked, after all, there are hundreds of thousands of people here. Now that everyone admires Boss so much, there are naturally many people who want to follow him. The others nodded as well. If that's the case, let's find a place to take in the remaining people. Bai Xing said, as long as it's a stable life, as for where it is, they shouldn't mind. You mean? Sima Yuyue seemed to have guessed what he meant. That's right. This is the Little Realm. Bai Xing said, keep those people who want to follow into the Little Realm. There's no need to worry about being chased by the enemy. If the Little Realm is exposed to even more people, I'm afraid it will attract trouble, Wang Mao said. The solution to this is very simple. Bai Xing said as he pointed to the sky. What method is this? As long as they swear that they won't do anything to hurt Yuyue, we can provide them with a stable life. I think a lot of people will be willing to do that. If they don't want to, then let them leave. Bai Xing said. Everyone's eyes lit up. This is a good idea. With the restriction of the Heavenly Tao's punishment, there was no need to worry that those people would leak the situation of the Little Realm. If they are willing to join the sect, we can slowly bring them out in the future. They can also become part of the sect's strength. If you don't want to get involved in disputes, living a peaceful life in a small world is also a good choice. Shi Chen said. I can consider it. Sima Yuyue said, Old Bai, you guys are more familiar with this place. I'll leave the front to you guys. That's not a problem. Old Bai still has quite a place in everyone's hearts. Shi Chen said. Sima Yuyue nodded her head. From the courteous reception that Bai Xing received at the Blood Arena, she could see the reverence that everyone had for him. It would be better to let them handle the matters of Blood Fiend City instead of her. After that, he discussed the details of the plan. Half a day later, the plan came out. After Bai Xing and Wang Mao left, Sima Yuyue brought Little Seven to wander around the ruins of the city to see if there were any buried survivors. After making a round, they really did find quite a few people who had been buried or abandoned and were on the verge of death. Sima Yuyue gave them pills to eat. After they regained consciousness, she asked them to look for Bai Xing. They were all injured when the blood demon tree went berserk. They didn't see what happened after that. They were also unfamiliar with Sima Yuyue. After thanking them, they went to Bai Xing's inn to look for him. When they reached there and saw the others, they knew what happened after that. When they were told that the person who saved them was Sima Yuyue, they were all shocked. And those who were hesitating, when they heard that it was Sima Yuyue who saved them in the ruins, many of them made their decision. After Sima Yuyue and the rest came back, Bai Xing had already settled all the matters. How is it? Sima Yuyue asked. Those who wanted to leave have already left. But there are still 200,000 people left. Bai Xing said. There are so many people left? Sima Yuyue was surprised. 200,000, this number was really scary. It's indeed out of my expectations. Bai Xing was initially shocked by this number, but he accepted it immediately. But it's good to have more people. You want to take revenge for your family. With more people, your ability will increase and you can save many years of development. Moreover, you have to believe that those who are able to escape to Blood Fiend City while being chased would not be too weak. I understand. Sima Yuyue said, but did you tell them about the oath? If it was other oaths, it might be more difficult. But to make them swear that they won't do anything to let you down, they accepted it easily. Bai Xing said. Indeed, if they were asked to swear allegiance to someone, they would hesitate. But if they were asked to not do anything to let her down, it would be easier. Since we've already agreed, then we'll go and settle it now. Then we'll bring them away. The people outside should be here soon. Sima Yuyue said. All right. The ruins were filled with people. When they saw Sima Yuyue coming over, all of them looked over excitedly. Young master, see you. Sima Yuyue leaped and came to a high point in the ruins. Looking down at the people below, she said, I think Old Bai and Shi Chen have already explained everything clearly to you. Now that time is tight, your enemies should be on their way here, so I won't waste any more time. Now, those who are willing to leave with me, please make an oath. After all, there are so many of you and I don't know you all well. I have to think about my own safety. Of course, this is voluntary. If you're not willing, I won't force you. You have 15 minutes to think about it. After saying that, Sima Yuyue looked at the people below and didn't say anything else. The people below thought for a while and finally decided to follow her. Not for other reasons, but because Bai Xing said that he would give them a stable life. If they were willing, they could live in seclusion and definitely not be chased by their enemies. The fact that Sima Yuyue could sit steadily on the tribulation cloud was something that everyone saw with their own eyes. Naturally, they believed what she said. After waiting for 15 minutes, Sima Yuyue saw that almost no one left and continued, since everyone has chosen to stay, then let's start. I'm Sima Yuyue. Siyu is my alias. I'll leave the rest to you guys. Everyone knew that Siyu would use an alias to come to such a place, so they weren't surprised and started to make their oaths. Chapter 960. Oaths were made one after another. Rays of silver light descended from the sky and entered the Oath Keeper and Sima Yuyue's bodies. Before the first ray of light could disperse, another ray of light shot down. From the beginning to the end, Sima Yuyue was enveloped by the silver light. This scene is really spectacular. Feng Kai sighed. You look so holy like this. Little Seven said excitedly. With so many heavenly Tao laws, I wonder if there will be any changes. Shi Chen looked at Sima Yuyue. Her eyes were closed, and she was covered in silver light. Indeed, she gave off a holy and pure feeling. That kind of aura was even denser than the so-called holy sons and holy daughters of the Sage Pavilion. I think, maybe. Bai Xing said faintly. More than 200,000 people swore at the same time and they were all done very quickly. However, the silver light on Sima Yuyue's body did not dissipate for a long time. What's wrong with her? Hu Yang returned and asked everyone. If the silver light doesn't scatter, there must be a heavenly phenomenon. Wang Mao said. It should be. Mu Lian Xian said, just that I don't know what this is. Just watch. Wang Mao said, the more I think about it, the more I feel that she's not just like what we see. She has a lot of secrets we don't know about. Moreover, if she doesn't die young, her future is limitless. Sima Yuyue felt as if her body was soaked in a hot spring of light. It was very comfortable. Her fatigue was swept away, and her soul was cleansed as well. She became more ethereal. This feeling lasted for a long time before it slowly disappeared. The silver light on her body traveled to every corner of her body before it slowly retracted back into her body. She exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and felt a wave of energy in her body that made her feel comfortable. "Boss, someone is coming," Feng Kai said loudly. Sima Yue sensed for a while and realized that there were indeed many people coming. They seemed to be surrounding them. "I'll bring you to a place. Shi Chen, old Bai, tell everyone about it." Sima Yue nodded at Bai Sheng and the rest before taking out the small door to Little Black Lotus Realm. She opened the door and brought everyone in before taking out a temporary array formation and leaving this place after activating it. When people from the outside came here, the city was already empty. What happened here? Why are so many people missing? The damage to these houses is very serious. It doesn't look like it was done by someone. Of course it's not man-made. Didn't you see how big the lightning tribulation was before? It's not caused by the lightning tribulation. A white-robed man with long hair came to the ruins and took out a piece of burnt tree root, saying, "The lightning tribulation should have struck this thing. These houses should have been destroyed by this thing." What is this? Tree roots? It should be a tree root. The white-clothed man threw the tree root to the ground and lightly clapped his hands. Tree roots? Is the lightning tribulation here to strike these roots? I think so. What kind of root is this? It actually attracted lightning tribulation. No matter what it is, it doesn't matter now. What we should be concerned about now is, where are the people here? That's right. When we approached this place earlier, we clearly felt that there were still people around. The aura here also indicated that there were many people here not long ago. But now, there was not a single person. This is too strange. Actually, there's nothing strange about it. They are missing and most probably left using the teleportation array. Someone said. Impossible. Why? According to the aura left behind here, there were at least hundreds of thousands of people here previously. How big is the teleportation array that can teleport so many people at the same time? Have you seen it before? We have seen it before, but that kind of teleportation array is extremely rare and precious. Only a few powerhouses in the inner regions have it, and usually they don't dare to use it. And this Blood Fiend city definitely doesn't have it. Then how did these people disappear? Everyone was silent as no one knew what was going on. Elder, there's no one in the entire city and all the items in the shops have been moved away. I think this is a premeditated transfer. At a place a few thousand kilometers away from Blood Fiend City, Sima Yue and Little Seven sat on the back of a Chongming and flew in the opposite direction. Earlier they told us that before they left, they had swept away all the items in Blood Fiend City. Little Seven giggled as she said. Swept away all the items? Sima Yue was a little surprised, the items in those shops. That's right. Sima Yue was a little speechless. Under that kind of situation, these people still had the mind to take away all the items? If it was Fatty Chu, it was highly possible. Thinking of Fatty Chu, she wondered how he was doing now that he had gone to the little realm. Right, how did those people behave in there? Initially they were very surprised, then they were very excited and said that they were willing to live in there. But they also hoped that they could come out occasionally to take a breather. Little Seven said, Old Bai and Brother Shurchen told them about establishing a sect and some of them were willing to follow along. And most of them were willing, but there were some who weren't too willing and wanted to live peacefully in there. Of course, these people were in the minority. These things can only be done if both parties are willing. Sima Yue said, we can't force them to do things that they don't want to do. That's true. They're still alright, at least they didn't express that they wanted to come out. Little Seven said. In the past they could only stay in a small place like Blood Fiend City, but now they can walk around the entire little realm and they don't have to worry about being hunted down. This kind of life is already not bad for them. Once they come out, they still have to face the pursuit of their enemies. Those who need to hide in Blood Fiend City probably don't have many enemies. Sima Yoyue's voice became softer and softer and she fell onto Little Seven. Little Seven thought that Sima Yoyue was lying on her body as usual, but when she felt her weak look, she turned her head and saw that Sima Yoyue's eyes were tightly shut and her face was ghastly pale. She had already fainted. Yu, what happened to you? She helped Yoyue to lie down and asked anxiously. Little Seven, what happened to Master? I can feel that her condition is very unstable and her breathing is very chaotic. Chongming asked anxiously. I don't know, she suddenly fainted. Little Seven saw Sima Yoyue in such a state and didn't know what to do. We have to think of a way, her condition is getting worse. Chongming shouted. Not good, Yoyue's body is splitting open and she's bleeding a lot. Little Seven shouted, the speed of splitting open is very fast, Yoyue's body seems to be exploding. Chongming, she. Then what should we do? Chongming was extremely anxious as he looked at the terrain below and flew towards the ground. When he came to a mountain peak, he transformed into his human form and caught Sima Yoyue. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.